And you are watching another edition of Blewetts Blitz. Sorry for the tardiness. I was late myself, and then something happened to Nania where he's going to be a little bit late as well. He should be joining in a second. Obviously, last preseason game starts in about 4 minutes. 2 weeks from today. Actually, no, not 2 weeks from today. We're talking about there's Nania. 10 seconds after I start. Nania?
Are we ready for the most exciting preseason finale of all time?
Your audio sounds different than it did last time.
Hold on. Yeah.
Gotta plug it in.
All right.
Good?
Yeah, it did. Much better. Much better.
Okay, are we ready for the greatest preseason finale of all time?
Yeah, so I was just going through it. I'm like, hey, we got two weeks, a little bit more. We got 16 days until the home opener. The list of inactives came out, Nania, which I will read really quickly. It seems like 35 Jets are not expected to play this one. So there's not going to be a lot. It's Rodgers, Tyrod aren't playing, obviously. We're not seeing any of Braylon Allen or Isaiah Davis today. No Breece Hall, obviously. No Gibson, Lazard, Mike Williams, Garrett Wilson. No Conklin Ruckert. No Fashanu, no Moses, no Smith, no Simpson, no ABT, no Tippmann, no Schweitzer. Fotu, Kinlaw, Thomas, Quinnen, JJ, Mosley, Quincy Williams, Sherwood, JBC, because he's injured. Eccles, who played last week. Michael Carter II, Gardner, Reed, Tony Adams, Chuck Clark, Ashton Davis, or Isaiah Oliver. So we are watching for kind of what we were watching for last week towards the end of the game. Now, obviously, there was a little bit more to watch last week, even with just the running backs being there, but could be a huge game for Izzy, right? If you have a few things to look for from the offense, what are we looking for? What is Michael Nania himself looking for?
Well, quickly on defense, Will McDonald is not on here, right?
No, yeah, he's not.
So I guess he's the most exciting thing to watch.
Yeah.
It does say in the article, even though Clemens isn't on the list, he's expected to dress but stay in the sidelines.
Okay.
I mean, offensively, I guess we're just looking at that receiver competition mostly. I mean, Brownlee finally made some plays and joined practice. It seemed like a couple really good catches that we saw videos of.
Is he our Chris Owusu? Like, what is he? Just a guy who makes plays in practice but just never does it in the game? Like, and I know we've had multiple of them, like Salim Hakeem and a bunch of other guys, but
Jalen Marshall.
Yeah, he just doesn't really do it in the game. So yeah, I would say him, big game for him. Davis, potential that he can make the roster. We've heard some, chatter about Irv Charles doing some stuff in practice. Could he actually have a catch in the preseason? I don't think he's even gotten a catch in any of the preseason games I've ever watched of him. Izzy, Xavier Newman is a guy who I think Hansen was off the roster last week, right? But I think he's on it this week. So maybe he was just injured last week.
I think Hansen was injured. So he's interesting. I mean, Newman, you showed some good plays of him. He played well at guard in the first game, then converted that to center last week. So I think he's in line for a key backup interior spot if he can keep that going. You mentioned Charles. I think you know that he's at least a solid special teamer, but can he show anything on offense to justify a roster spot, make you feel a little bit better about that? So he's interesting. But Brandon Smith, he's someone who's done more in the games than any of these other guys that we're talking about. So if he can do that again, maybe he has a surprising case, because the Jets do have surprising inclusions sometimes. Tony Adams was kind of surprising when they kept him, and 2 years later, he's still a starter for them. So they do have Irv Charles last year was surprising. So no one's really talked about Smith, and I would still be surprised. But if he could have another strong preseason game, then he's shown you more in game than any of these other competitors. So
yeah, for sure. By the way, for the people who are having a beverage or two, the drink of choice, I didn't really have a lot at the house, so we went with iced tea and Grey Goose is what the drink of choice is tonight for me, for whoever else is out there having a beverage or two. Again, cheers to you. There's stuff to watch. Obviously, offense, defense. We're looking at the defensive line, which, by the way, put out a review last week. Members only. We do have memberships now on the YouTube, where you have some perks. We are going to add some emojis eventually. I don't know exactly how many perks or how many memberships you need for emojis. We're going to put that up. We have little banners for however long, if you're a member or a member for a month or 3 months or 6 months. You have like different banners next to your name. I think I have like a little wink or bet or something like that next to my name, I believe. So those are going to be available now as well. I did do a Tack McKinley review. That's out for the last preseason game. Another guy who'll be watching out for, right? Tack McKinley, McGregor, Watts, Leonard Taylor. I think that's it's so funny. It's so funny because I was going to add that and I didn't, and I was thinking about when I could do it, but the fact that you added it that's fantastic. Is that on the soundboard now for us? That's perfect.
Yeah, if you scroll down on that right side there, you'll be able to see it.
Yeah, got you. Yeah, and I'm going to we're gonna do I think in the doldrums of this game, Nania, like in the fourth quarter, and there's really not much to talk about. We'll probably do like a quick 53-man roster prediction because the roster's getting cut down, I believe, on Tuesday, right? I don't know what time it's at on Tuesday, but Tuesday 4:00, whatever it is. So we'll do like maybe a little quick 53-man roster prediction during this. Jets 12-5 to 13-4 from the Dakota. Bills 10-7 to 11-6. Dolphins 8-9, 9-8, and Pats 2-15 to 3-14. I'm assuming you're having the Jets win the division. Who put some pressure on you, Nania, to think off the top of your head really quickly? The 7 teams who are going to make the playoffs in the AFC, since we have some record predictions here from Dakota. If you had to pick right now, top of your head, not knowing injuries, not knowing a lot of different things, not knowing who's playing in training camp, who's struggling, all this stuff. I know it's a lot of pressure with really no time to prepare for it, but the 7 playoff teams in the AFC will be who?
Kansas City's going to take the West again.
Mm-hmm.
The North, I think the Bengals will be back on top.
Okay.
South, I think Houston's going to retain as the South champions. Jets are taking the East. I feel confident in that.
Gotcha.
Wild cards are where it gets tricky because there's so many contenders. But I'm gonna give Miami one of the spots.
Okay.
Baltimore.
I was gonna say definitely it has to be Baltimore, right?
And
Steelers versus Bills, kind of right. That's where I kind of stand with that last spot right there.
And I'm gonna say
Browns,
Buffalo.
dude. Browns too. Browns have a stacked roster.
They do a really good roster. Just I'm questionable about quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
It is hard to question them outside of quarterback, though. That is the thing. Maybe they caught some lightning in the bottle last year because Cincinnati wasn't great. But they're very much in that mix. So I'll say the wild cards are going to be Miami, Buffalo, and Baltimore. But I do consider Jacksonville in that mix. Pittsburgh, you can never rule them out because they always just find a way to get 9 or 10 wins for no reason that they deserve, but they just do it anyway. And then, like we said, Cleveland's really talented. So it's a stacked conference. And I don't want to rule out the Colts either. I mean, they won 9 games last year, and now Anthony Richardson going into his second year. If he could, like, they had Gardner Minshew last year. He's, bottom 10 quarterback. So if Anthony Richardson is anything special, they have the potential to get 10+ wins. I'm not threatened by any of the other 3 AFC West teams. I don't think they're going to do much of anything. I mean,
maybe the Chargers.
I don't want to fully rule out the Chargers because they have Herbert, and I really like Herbert, but I just don't think they're there yet offensively. I mean,
underrated addition of Ben Blessington, though. Maybe they could put him over the top.
Although, I mean, he didn't bring much luck to the Jets. So
that is true. That is true. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say hello to a few more people in the chat. I'm in lockstep with you there, Nania. The only thing I would disagree with is I think Baltimore wins the division, and Cincinnati's a wild card team. And then it's really between Cleveland or the Bills for me in that last spot. It's tough, man. With the Bills, they lost a lot of weapons, and again, obviously, like the AFC East is going to cannibalize itself, but kind of the same thing with the North up there. As well, and the Browns. Who's their backup right now?
I honestly feel like I have to take one of those AFC East teams out. I mean, I know not necessarily because last year you had 3 teams out of the North last year, right? But so it can happen. But I do kind of feel like if I'm going to pick the Jets to win it, one of Miami and Buffalo is going to be like 8 or 9, not quite enough, and then maybe like Jacksonville gets in there, someone who could feast off of more division wins. versus like Buffalo and the Jets and Miami, kind of like, taking a lot of wins from each other, you know. So I could see that as well.
You know what we do, Nania? I'm going to say hello to some people in the chat, but this is the first episode we have memberships. So I am going to, I think I'm gonna, if I can figure this out on my computer, I'm gonna figure out how to purchase some memberships for some people in a second here. Which boom, there we go. Our first memberships being given out. Got it. Daniel Murphy, Christian A, Bada Bing, Mike Rubino, and Stacked all got memberships. It's first time I popped our member cherry here. So congratulations to the 5 members. Michael says, is Will McDonald playing? I think you said that he's dressed but not going to play, right? That's what they
wrote for Clemens, but McDonald, he's not on that list, and they also didn't give him that same distinction in the article. So I would think he's playing unless there's something I'm unaware of.
Awesome. So we have, hold on. Let me see. We got Yoshi in here. We got Bada Bing. Let me scroll down to some chats. John Hassel, is this still happening? Yes, I'm sorry. I blame this on Nania. In Nania's defense, I was 11 minutes late. The rest of it was Nania, though. So that was kind of split responsibility. Crispy, what's up? Like I said, Bada Bing, Yoshi. Honeymoon is over after this game. It's time to win, boys, and get ready for the great NFL season. Yeah, I am beyond excited, right? We've been waiting 2 years to watch Rodgers legitimately play. I do wish that first game was a little bit easier, or even a home game. But if they go out west and win that game, it's going to be wild. And the Niners are missing some players, right? Like they're missing Greenlaw. I saw that Leonard Floyd and one of the other guys is a little bit banged up as well. So they're facing some injuries right now. So, and Debo's a guy who I don't know how long Debo's going to be good for. Like, is this the year where he kind of dips down? I know last year he was battling some injuries and stuff too, but Debo, I'm not like terrified of Debo. Am I stupid for thinking that way?
I mean, I feel like the Jets usually handle that type of player well. Like I feel like what usually beats them is like power runs, quarterback runs, like pass receivers who can win against man coverage. They could have issues with, like Justin Jefferson did really well. I mean, he does that against everyone, but like Miami and their offense, like they have guys who can win and they have the speed to beat you. And like Debo Samuel has that, but I feel like generally against screens, like kind of designed offense, they've done a good job. So that's why Ayuk is so huge for them. If he plays, it's going to be tough. But without him, it's like, what's the threat?
We have a gifted membership from hold on.
Jets recover a fumble on the opening kickoff return.
You are so far in front of me right now.
Ready? Sorry.
No, it's okay. We'll watch it live on my screen. Look at Lonnie. Can you see it?
Who's that?
I don't know.
Trey Swilling.
Trace Swilling, yeah, that corner from last week. This is look at my screen. Look where I am now. It just happened. Mine. It's all good. It's okay. Yeah, you're way ahead of me. Is there a way to pause that? We sync up?
Yeah, I'll pause it.
Okay. Appreciate you, Nania. Thank you so much for letting me experience that. By my lonesome here.
Historic moment you just missed out on.
I just didn't watch the replay though. Did he fumble before he hit the ground or no?
Oh yeah, he clearly did.
Clearly did. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice. All right. Here, start off hot. We have a super chat, or not a super chat, a gifted membership from Daniel Murphy. Thank you, Daniel Murphy. I feel like I have to find some type of different drop though for gifted memberships, right? I don't think I can just do the money one. Money one has to be the
Nania one.
Do the Nania? Yes. So if I pull up a membership, Nania, for the rest of the stream, could you do that for me? Could you be in charge of the Nania button? Yes. No, not actually do it. Not do the whoa. Just hit the button. Okay, is he?
All right, tell me when you're at 1440 on the clock. Oh no, it's
1440.
They just stopped it. Never mind.
Yeah. Okay. We'll wait until it's a little bit after. All right. Let me see. Is Great Jets Shark asks, is Newman above Hansen in the depth chart? In depth, the one thing I could say, and I still see people referring to it and talking about it. The depth chart that they put out initially means absolutely nothing. It is not done by the team. It is done by the social media guys. It has nothing to do with the coaches. So like seeing anything on the depth chart again has no correlation to the actual roster and what the coaches think. In terms of the Jets' actual depth chart, I have no idea. I think Nani and I would both comfortably put Newman as the as the next best interior offensive line, like the 10th guy, right? Or even 9th guy. Like, are we going to undoubtedly say that Wes Schweitzer is better than him this year? I don't know. Right. I think they carry 10, and I think Newman is that 9th or 10th guy, if I had to bet right now.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Stigers had the recovery on that return. So that's a good special teams play for him.
Nice. Those have been surprising about the Stigers too. Like, he's had a few nice tackles. Again, I don't think you watched the entire Stigers review. I can pull up plays. He was really, really bad at tackling at the CFL level. Not because of physicality. He was always willing to tackle, but his technique in the open field was bad. Now, I know a lot of his tackles have come more in confined spaces, blitzing, things like that, where it's a little bit more in a phone booth. I'm not worried about him in a phone booth. I am more worried about him in space. So we'll see how that translates. If we could see some open field tackling from Stigers, some things to watch out for. Tony, the GM, appreciate it. Joe Blewett and Matt O'Leary. I'm going to add a Michael Nani to there because he's here with us. And I don't know if you're also, but you're also, I feel like typically people refer to like YouTubers with that, but you're not really necessarily a YouTuber, even though you're stepping your game up now. Right. John says, I want a sack from Tack. Yeah. Okay. So we're doing the 53-man roster prediction later. Your defensive line, though, for your 53, just because we're talking about Tack McKinley making the team, and it might change by the third or fourth quarter here. But who do you have making the team at defensive line?
I was actually just going to pull it up so I just can make sure I can write it out, so I'm good to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But honestly, let me write this out so I'm ready to go and have good answers as we get.
Oh, you're doing the whole roster?
Yeah, I'm going to write it out right now. Just make sure I got good 53 here.
Yeah. Wasn't there a year, I don't know if it was like 2 or 3 years ago, but I listened to a CYJ, and they do the 53-man roster, and one of them's got like 54, one of them's got 55. They got to like go back through their guys. Like, what are you guys doing?
That might have been last year.
Was it last year? Okay, yeah. I'm like, how does he have 7 corners, 7 receivers, 4 running back? I'm like, how does that math does not make sense? Chicken Jenkins says, "What's up, guys? Glad to do this with you one last time. Next time it's a real game. Next game, I don't stream. I'm not streaming here. I'm not streaming. Yeah, until next preseason. Nani and I will stream the next preseason maybe. But okay, I'm at 30, 29 on the play clock. Okay, well now I'm in front of you
on the play clock.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to do next rep.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yaboa.
I thought that was gonna be Corley right there too. So I'm at 37 in the play clock.
Oh, I can't see it now because they went to a graphic.
Okay. Berkshire's I'm. It's really hard. I don't know what's gonna happen with Berkshire. Yeah, next time Chicken Jenkins, it's a real game.
So good. He's got 1,200 yards and 5 touchdowns. All right, I paused it at 11 on the play clock.
11.
Okay. Should be even.
10, 9, 8, 7. Okay. All right. Do you guys like that McKinley's playing? Yeah, no, I think he's nearly the lock for me at this point. My biggest question is McGregor, dude, and yeah, McGregor, Leonard Taylor are my guys who are like on the bubble right there for me in my 53-man roster. Even though, again, I don't think Clemens necessarily deserves a spot. Like, gun to my head right now, McGregor or Clemens. Like, give me McGregor. Maybe I'm a little bit low on Clemens, but I just haven't really seen it. So, all right, 2nd and 8.
What's offensive line? Mitchell, left tackle.
Izzy, man. They might keep Izzy. I don't know. The way he's been. I'm not saying it's. I'm saying it's a thing like where he's been doing anything great, but he's definitely running harder.
Yeah, last game.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see the offensive line. I'm just seeing anybody who like really rallies in. Just gotta see it real quick. Kind of hard. Okay, so we got Mitchell left tackle, Newman left guard.
Center is I couldn't see what number.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. And the right tackle looks like Carter Warren's right tackle.
Yeah.
62. Ooh. I didn't even see the run because I was looking at the offensive line and trying to get all of them.
More power from Izzy. Okay, 69. That's Glazer. 62.
Glazer. Hansen?
62 Hansen, yeah.
Okay. So Hansen's
got some key offensive line depth battles going on here.
Is Hansen playing center or right guard?
Right guard. Glazer's center.
Glazer's center. Okay. But Schrager's in the booth.
Is he getting busy? He's showing some more power for sure.
Is he getting busy? Yeah. Yeah. I think I don't know.
They're out there, tight end.
The top attached?
Yeah.
Looks like it. Yeah. That's Ferkser. Dude. So he hasn't stood out a lot, but Ferkser, at least last game, like he had a few nice blocks. That was a nice turnout block right there. Like he did a good job of keeping that DN to the outside right there. I'm not gonna show the replay, of course, but he did a nice job. Dan Murphy, what's up? Derek Miller, what's up? Shout out to you and Mike. Y'all do a great job. We appreciate the content. I appreciate you appreciating the content. Mike Rubino, what is up? Jets division record this year. I think it could be 5-1. Oh, okay. Izzy again. Oh, there's gonna be a hold. There's gonna be a hold or a cut block, some type of penalty there. Probably a hold. Damn. Division record this year. I'll say 4-2. But 17. All right. Corley on a hold. I want to see it though now. Yeah, I think I'll be conservative and say 4-2, but I can see the Jets sweeping Miami this year. I can see them sweeping the Bills this year as well. Like, why not? Okay,
I'm gonna say 5-1. I think they are gonna get that Bills sweep. I mean, they got the home game each of the last 2 years, and they lost by one score in Buffalo in 22 with Mike White at quarterback and Joe Flacco just choking the game away in his 3 plays on the field. So,
and even if you do split with the Bills, like who's to say that they play Miami late twice, right? They're not playing Miami in September or October. They're playing them in December both times. So who's to say that they can't sweep Miami as well? So I think there's a good possibility they're 5-1. I would say 4-2 just to be relatively conservative. I think that's what I did probably in my schedule prediction, but I could see them being 5-1 just as easily. So gun in my head 4-2, but they should sweep. Why not sweep the Bills? Again, they've been competing with them every year with, again, trash quarterbacks. So yeah, let's see. Nice added green to members. Yep. Green to members. Again, and I will we're gonna update some stuff too. We'll have emojis. I'm gonna add more sound effects and stuff for the gifted memberships. We'll do all that stuff. By the way, something that we did not say right off the jump. One, was that a catch? I don't know. And
no.
Let's see. Martinez is playing over Peasley, by the way. Something to note.
No, he didn't get it.
Did he catch that though? He didn't. No, he didn't catch it. All right.
That is a change. That's worth noting.
Yep. Yeah, Martinez over Peasley. I would keep Martinez on the practice squad. You know, but it's like 16 deep now is the practice squad. It used to be 10, right? Now it's 16. Who's down for the Jets? Yeah. Who is that? Xavier Newman. No. Of course. Hope it's a stinger. See how he walks when he gets up. Without,
you should really think about signing somebody if he's out.
Yeah, I got to say, I was kind of starting to warm up to the idea of Newman based on the 2 preseason games. Without Newman, I'm relatively sketched out about the interior offensive line depth. Did they give him that catch? And they're taking a virtual measurement. They caught the ball, but it looks, dude, that
definitely moved. I just don't.
You can't see it actually hit the ground, but there's no way that it did not hit the ground.
Oh, it's dragging right there.
Yeah, no way.
It definitely did.
No way. They gotta challenge that. They gotta challenge that. Let's see. Thanks, Joe. Congrats. Yeah, I'll be buying some more memberships. I'm not trying to drop it all at once. Is that a Thomas Jones jersey? It is not. It is a new Breece Hall jersey.
New Breece Hall.
Yeah, new Breece Hall. If it was Thomas Jones, I believe it would have the patch right here. No, the old ones, right? Patch right here.
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken. Yeah, John's a challenger.
On your left.
Yep.
Over the heart.
I know, because I brought a Calvin Pryor white jersey, and the thing was freaking completely sideways and a completely different shade of green. So
I got one that was upside down once.
Yeah, that's not less than ideal. Ball pop, Jets ball, fumble recovery, special teams, pay it forward. Yeah, hey, Daniel Murphy, you're the first one ever. You're the first one minus me ever to gift the membership. So I appreciate you. I will always remember you now, Daniel Murphy, even though you're always in here anyway. So I'll always remember you. Who calls the fumble? It was what was his name?
Swilling.
Stiggs. I like the way Peasley throws better than Martinez. Like his throwing motion. It's probably a little bit more clean than Martinez, but Martinez is also way more athletic, in my opinion. Like you have Martinez rolling out to the left, throwing across his body. He's been pretty damn good in terms of like the ball and the move. So in terms of like, and even with that, Peasley missed a wide open Braylon Allen in the flat. So even if you like his form better, he's not as good of a thrower of the football as Martinez, at least accuracy wise. There's no way, in my opinion, at least. All right, Greg the leg. Let's see if is he going to go 1 for 1 and they're going to pull him again this week and just have Seibert.
Oh,
okay.
Wobbler.
All right. 3-0. Here we go.
Thought it was cringy how the Jets made a post with Hennessy, Zerline, and Seibert before, and they're like, we're going to tell our kids this was the Beatles.
I didn't see that.
Okay, it's Austin Seibert, guys. If Morstead were in there, like, okay, do your thing. But
yeah,
Austin Seibert, I don't know. So I'm working on this 53. Like, after I put in the ones that I feel like are obvious, I still have 3 left. So that's where it gets interesting to me. And right now I filled it out with Taylor, McGregor, and Izzy. But where I feel like I'm going light is now at receiver. Because outside of the obvious 5, I have Charles. But I feel like you need someone else if he's not because he doesn't play offense. You kind of need another one, but it's like who? Like, I don't know who I want there that I'd rather keep than Taylor.
Can I tell you? Can I tell you?
You know?
I'm at 6 as well. The same 6. It's a thing where I think you could put a Brownlee or a Davis on the practice squad. And if one of your guys go down, then they're pulled up the next week. Like, I don't think it's a thing where one of these guys is going to be nabbed by another team. Again, not trying to be whatever here, but what has Brownlee done minus practice reps? Brownlee, nice catch down the sideline.
I mean,
but in terms of
even Izzy, like as much as he hasn't, impressed too much until last game and, off to a good start here, he was a 5th round pick last year. So I feel like he's, someone could claim him versus like no one's going to claim Brown. I don't think someone would claim Brownlee or
I doubt it.
Charles and I do think Charles will make it, but any of these receivers, they don't have the draft pedigree to them. So that I'm starting to lean towards Izzy. I've been on the 3 running back train recently, but I now that I got into this, I don't know if I see the Ferkser spot unless they're gonna, because I do have McGregor on this, so and Taylor. So unless they want to take one of those out and then squeeze them in there, but I feel like they love that D-line depth. I do have Reddick included in this. Did you include Reddick?
Yeah. Why not? He's going to be on the roster at some point, right? Like, why are we going to do Reddick and this guy's going to take his place? Like, who cares? Unless you're going to say, hey, this guy, and you could do it without Reddick, but in that instance, I think you need to specifically put who's going to be cut if Reddick returns, because that's what's going to happen eventually, I think it's an easy way kind of to squeeze in another guy, It's a little bit cheap. Please stream regular season games. Again, Christian, unequivocally, absolutely not. One, because there will be quite a few of these kind of Long Island iced tea things I got going on. I will say things I regret. For undoubtedly, I get very mad. Nania streams all the time. You don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it. The Giants. It looks like Daniel Jones.
Locker room.
Oh, fuck. It looked like Daniel Jones was okay, never mind. DeVito. Every time I see 17, I'm like, damn, Garrett put on some man meat. Yeah, it is a little bit hard to get used to. I'm with you. Jets and Giants colors are such Christmas colors. The blue in the Giants. I don't know. I think if we're playing like the Bucks or the Cardinals, or there's no red and green teams, right? No. Let's see.
Red and green teams?
Yeah, I don't think so.
The Bucks used to be red and green in the NBA. I didn't like it. I don't think that worked as a sport color scheme.
No, it's terrible.
It's good for Christmas, but for sports, it's pretty awful.
Because it's the only thing you think about when you see it.
I guess so.
I think the I think the worst is the Browns. Like I think the Browns just have the worst uniforms. Like brown and orange is it's foul. It really is foul to me. Like white.
I just hate that like when they play the Bengals, it's too much. It's too similar, and they're in the same state.
Yeah. Meatball Parm says a podcast earlier this week said Tippmann is a zone scheme guy and not a gap scheme guy. Is that a big transition? And do you think he could adapt well? I would say ideally he's probably more zone because I think he's more athletic than he is powerful. But I haven't seen Tippmann specifically struggling with a gap scheme where he's not a gap scheme guy. I think everybody can have their preferences of what they can play. Like I would argue that Tippmann and ABT together are probably a little bit better for zone, but you have Morgan Moses, Simpson, and Tyron who are all better, and Fashion for that. Actually, probably and Xavier Newman who are all undoubtedly better in gap in my opinion. So yeah, I would say he's probably more of a zone guy, but I don't think he's not a gap guy, if that makes sense. Unless I don't know if there's numbers on you that are like that would indicate that he's not a gap scheme guy, but
that I've seen. No,
he's tall. He's more athletic than he is powerful, but he still has power behind him. So and that was a thing from the joint practice this week. You heard that the Jets' offensive line did pretty good in terms of handling the Giants' pass rush. With Thibodeau, with Burns. Obviously, we saw the play of Tyron Smith stuffing birds into the ground, and even Dexter Lawrence. You heard that the interior offensive line or offensive line did a pretty good job of stuffing him up as well. So, is he falling forward on runs, on these runs? Good job. Yeah, no, he's been playing better for sure. I'm really curious to see if he makes it. Like him versus Ferkser is kind of a big a big thing in my 53 because again, like who is going to play that fullback role in this offense? Because they're going to have a fullback on some of these plays, but it's been Yeboah. So Ferkser, like it's really hard with Ferkser because I think he probably should make it.
Probably stash him, and he could back up Yeboah essentially. Kayvon Thibodeau's at receiver.
Say Allen Robinson's on this team and he's number 5, isn't that Thibodeau's number? Is he like not planning on making is that the Allen Robinson or is that a different Allen Robinson?
I think that's him. He is Robinson the second.
Let me see. It looks like his face through the helmet, and I can only really see his nose and his skin color, but that looks like him.
Yeah, that is him.
That's Allen Robinson. Yeah, that's Allen Robinson. What the hell is he wearing Thibodeau's number? That's weird. Yeah, he's probably just waiting for people to get cut so he can pick a new number. But what has he done in recent years? Allen Robinson, he hasn't done anything, right?
Wasn't it a year or 2 years ago we were talking about him as like a big time get potential at receiver?
Yeah. And instead, I don't know who we got. I don't know who we might have gotten.
Corey Davis.
Yeah, last year he had. Where is it? He had 280 yards last year, 339 the year before, 400 the year before. Yeah, he's been nothing for years now. They're getting driven on right now.
That's a Swilling, not Stiggers.
They're getting driven on. Is he running like his job depends on it? Because it literally is.
Oh, who's that? Whoever was at in the middle at D tackle just got completely dominated on that.
Who's that running back? Riley? All right, let's see Jets. Watt's not making a play. There's no way Watts makes his team right. He really hasn't done anything.
Nah, he hasn't shown anything. Only one I might have McGregor on this roster, but yeah, not enough from Watts.
McGregor, it's interesting roster gymnastics to try to figure out how to fit both McGregor and Taylor on this team with McKinley. All three is hard. Unless you're carrying 11 defensive linemen.
I have all three on this, but really? I guess my sacrifice is receiver and the lack of Ferkser.
Yeah. Okay.
Also only have 4 linebackers. I've no Surratt. I guess that might be a place where I'm making it happen.
Yoshi says, to me, it's a disappointment if we don't win the division. I would say I would say yeah, right? Like you could be disappointed. I don't think you could be like flat out like this is a failed season if they don't win the division, because what if they win 11 games and Buffalo wins 12 or Miami wins 12 or something like that, or they both win 11 but they have the tiebreaker? Like fine, it is what it is. No playoffs is a massive disappointment, but I still think you'd be right to say like you could be slightly disappointed if they don't win it, but it depends on what the other teams do. Like, did the Jets only win 10 and they had to win 11 to win the division? Okay, be disappointed. But if they win 11 and Buffalo wins 12 or something like that, then it is what it is. You know, that was a bad tackle attempt by Stigers there on that one. They're going for it. They've been running down our throats a little bit. Why not? Our very own Andrew Fialco is in here. Said Corley another nice catch in traffic, to then later be proved wrong by replay, and he dropped it, but it's okay. He had a nice catch or two in traffic in the first two games for sure. Unfortunately, didn't bring that one down though. Oh, there you go.
Let's go,
Surratt.
Adding him to my roster for that.
I already have him as my fifth
Get
linebacker.
McGregor out of here. Surratt is now on my roster.
Well, let me just edit this. They love, part of the reason I think he's going to make the team is just like the love fest they have with him on Hard Knocks. It was crazy last year. So if he's healthy,
Hector held up like two guys there, allowed him to get through.
Nice. NFL Sunday ticket is so lame. Can't watch preseason games with it. Really? A super chat here. Tony Lee says, how close can Breece Hall come to Martin's 2004 season of 1942 all-purpose yards? Am I crazy to think he might get 2,000? I don't think you're crazy to say he's going to get 2,000, because I'm pretty sure Nania predicted in his season predictions to say he was going to have over 2,000, if I'm not mistaken. Do you remember what number you gave? Because I gave, let me say, I gave rush yards. Well, what did I say? Okay, so I gave 1,300 rush yards, 1,331, and 567 on receiving. So I have him at about 1,900. So a little bit below 1,900, right at 1,900. So could he get an extra 43 yards or even 100 yards and get to 2,000? Undoubtedly, like he's going to be used. And one of the more interesting things was to hear in some of these practices that he was a primary read on some of these plays. And then you saw against the Giants, I think it was the Giants, where he runs like an angle route and gets a touchdown behind like Isaiah Simmons. Like he's going to be a primary weapon in the passing game. In terms of actually target him as like a first or second read, I think he's obviously going to be behind guys like Garrett Wilson, Conklin, and probably Mike Williams. But I would say past those guys, he's the next guy. Now he might receive more targets than a Conklin or even a Mike Williams, but in terms of like being a primary read is what I'm talking about. Like he's gonna get a couple of plays just because he's a check down guy, right? But he'll be playing involved in the offense or in the passing game. So 2,000 all-purpose yards, I think, is almost like maybe not what the over-under is at, but like the over-under is probably like 1,900 yards for him this year. He's a top 3 guy in fantasy for a reason.
Yeah, I think it's definitely within reach. I mean, he got basically 1,600 last year, despite we've talked about this a million times, but everyone knows what he went through. For me, the biggest thing that I think can get him there is the increase in how many carries he's going to get. He only averaged 13 a game last year. Part of that was beginning of the season when he was still getting worked back into it. He was like, what do you have, like 4 in the first game, I think? Let's see. No, he had 10 in the first game, 4 in the second, 6 in the fourth. So, and then he had games later. He had 7 against Miami, 7 and 6 against Miami. So, yeah, because he was getting worked in early, they were trailing so much. He really did not get to run the ball that often. But I think this year, more leads, healthy.
Is he just bounced a nice run, by the way? If you could see the replay.
I think
sorry.
Yeah, I think he's just going to get a lot more carries, and then his yards per carry should go up as well, just because of better blocking. Mm-hmm. So, and I think the receiving, like you said, he had 591 last year. I think he'll stay in that area because that's a lot for a running back. But I think he'll stay around there because, like you said, he'll get probably fewer checkdowns because they have more weapons, better pass protection, but maybe more primary read plays to make up for that. So I think his receiving will stay around there, and I think he could run for like 1,400 with the carries going up. So I think 2,000 is in play.
Yeah, I said like 13, like mid 1300s and about 550 for the receiver. So it's definitely within the range of possibility. You didn't see the first play, Nani, there. I think it's an outside zone, and somebody met Izzy like right at the line of scrimmage. And he did a really nice job, like lowering your shoulder, kind of like trucking him / like spinning off of him and get another 4 or 5 yards. So another good run from Izzy there. Yoshi says, "What do you think about the visual measurement?" So it's not visual, right? Technically, it's a chip in the football. Right. And to me,
Izzy, let's go.
To me, it's kind of stupid to not do it, right? Like at this point, why are the batter's boxes in baseball not done by chips? Like why is it by a judgment from a 60-year-old dude on 100-mile-per-hour moving ball? Like how is he supposed to know exactly where it went? And you see plenty of umps miss the call there. So yeah, if you could put a chip in the baseball, put a chip in the football, do it. Like I want the actual like results. Like there's too much human error, right? So to me, yeah, I like the fact that they're doing this. I hope it works out. Do you have any feelings on the chip thing or?
Yeah, it's on the right track. I mean, obviously, oh shit.
Yeah, sacked.
Obviously, it could be cleaner in terms of how quickly it takes for them to get through it, but it's the right idea. Like we see all the tracking that they have. Let's see who got beat there. Oh, Mitchell.
Did he? Damn, I gotta see the replay. Beat by who?
I mean, he was kind of like working with Ferkser, and like Ferkser let him go because someone else was coming. So it was both of them.
Tony, the GM, says Joe Kinlaw's run defense in San Fran. Now consider that he. Oh God,
Mitchell got hurt. Also, Yaboa had a groin injury. Is doubtful to return.
All right. Well, we talked a lot of shit about not getting banged up before the season, and now here goes all of our depth. Not good. His run defense. Now we have to, he added like another 20, 25 pounds apparently this off season. So he might be a little bit better there. What I could say about him in San Fran, it was extremely volatile in terms of blow up a play in the backfield, get completely moved on a double team, blow up a play in the backfield, get completely moved by double team. So I would say, overall, because of the consistency, it was not good with San Fran. But I do think he has the capability and like the power to do it, especially considering the weight he added. So I would say he struggled with it, but probably Aris pointed up just based on the weight he added and the fact that, hey, he's healthy now. So Chicken Jenkins, why do you have a Tennessee Titans cup, or is that a Titans of NY cup? No. So every stadium I go to, I get like a souvenir cup from their stadium, and I got to collect them, even though I don't collect them because half of them have been like chewed up by my dog. Like there's like one outside probably in the corner of the yard. So I kind of like lost a lot of them. So I started collecting them, and then being realistic, am I going to collect another 20 of them? Probably not. I've been to like 10 or 12 stadiums, and I think I've already lost like 1 or 2 of these. So
I mean, I have a Raiders cup that I use a lot because it's big, and I have a Saints popcorn bucket. So
I could fit a lot. I could fit a lot of vodka and iced tea in this. It's like 32 ounces. So same. I use big cups. It just is what it is. Another big cup right here. Devils. Just in case I need some water in a little bit. Oh, I'm all about the souvenir cups.
Check the Devils 2023 schedule or whatever it is, just in case you want to look back on it.
Are you talking about this on right here?
Yeah.
This is actually just in case I want to ever think about the Devils in 2016. Yeah, hey, if I ever want to remember the 2016 Devils, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that game. So. But let's see. I'm starting to think that Hassan Reddick won't play a game this year. I think he may be in danger of not playing week 1. The chance that he doesn't play any game, I just can't see it. And the thing that people compare it to is the Le'Veon Bell situation. But was Bell cut, or was he signed with the Jets, right? So it's not like he was traded from the Steelers. Did they like flat out release him? Oh wow, bad snap. Throw it away. Wow, hell of a job by Martinez there to get rid of that ball and not get a safety. Now what was it? The wow, bad snap. Oh, actually, I can't tell it was a bad snap from that view. Yeah, the Le'Veon Bell situation. He didn't get. Did he get cut from his contract, or did he just?
He was a free agent, and they franchise tagged him, and he refused to sign it.
Yeah, so his rights weren't just back to him the next year. They would have had to franchise tag him again. I don't know how franchise tag works if you don't sign it and just don't show up.
Still different than Reddick, to where it's like
different.
Jets have control.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like it's not a situation where he's just going to walk after the year. So people compare it to Le'Veon Bell's situation, but it's different because Bell would have still been on the Steelers. He's going to play now. Week 1, I'm not sure. We're talking about we're 16 days away from the home opener or the opening game, and he's still not here. There were some rumors on Twitter last night he was going to sign last night. Obviously, it didn't happen. I know there have been people who have been talking about like deadlines coming up like relatively soon. And saying it's probably going to happen the next week or so. But at that point, are you kind of just, I feel like you might be like educated guessing that it's going to end in the next week or two. Like, I don't know if there's actually any impactful deadline dates. I don't know. You still, I think last week, Nani, you said that you think that he will sign.
Oh, get that.
It looks like Giants got it. Yeah, Giants got it. Have your feelings changed a week later? He still hasn't signed. Are you still going to stay steadfast and he's going to sign before the season?
I still think so. I think like right before week 1 is what I'm looking at, before that practice week starts, whether that's second or third, I think. So I think it'll be right before then. It's still tough because like you said, we made it this far, but just logically speaking, I really don't see what he's trying to make happen by missing games other than, and that's when the checks, that's when the fines will really start hurting more so than missing practices. So
yeah, cause it's like $700,000 per game or something like that, right? It's like whatever is, I think it's like 750 or 8 or something. It's something like that. It's a little bit below $1 million. Daniel Murphy says the Tommy Cutlets hype last year was probably the most ridiculous thing. It was like funny, like Italian, and he's talking about like breaded chicken and all this shit, whatever. But like he was never good, right? Like he didn't really do anything. That Jets Giants game was legitimately one of the worst ones I've ever watched. That last year.
It was. The Jets almost lost. The Giants just refused to pass the ball.
Oh yeah. Yep, and Jets still couldn't win, or they couldn't win convincingly. All right. Browns and Packers have the worst unis in my opinion. Yeah. Green and yellow is gross too. That's really bad.
If they weren't historically great, I feel like we would look at it differently. They may have went through an overhaul already.
I'm 100% with you. If they suck, I'm trying to think like who else is ugly.
Their logo is it's a G.
Commanders. I would say Commanders aren't great. Rams. I don't like the Rams uniforms. Let's see. Tack
McKinley.
Tack.
Yeah.
Tack another review
McKinley.
Coming. I saw like the because that tackle sat inside. That's why I don't know if you were with me. I said it like a second early because he came off the line there and that tackle was sitting inside. Nice Tack. He has to make this team, right? You have to, unless they're just stupid. He's the third best rusher on the Jets defensive our defensive ends right now. Considering that Hassan Reddick isn't here. But Packers, Browns. I don't love the Bucks uniforms. I would say, like looking through some of these teams, the Jags, Bucks, Packers, Bears, or Browns, something like that.
The Rams got to go back to their throwbacks that they are going to wear this year, kind of like the Jets did.
The New Jersey Devils used to have Christmas colors. Yeah, I was going to bring that up before. They wear those red and green throwbacks every once in a while. Holy shit, Allen Robinson is still playing. Apparently he is. Is the game showing? It is showing. It is on CBS for me, FUBU. But yeah. Let's see. Good tackle, Stiggers. Stiggers with the clutch trip up. Let's see. Sarai, baby. We're getting excited. We have Eagle in here getting excited about some preseason football. I love it. Hope your weight loss journey is going well, Eagle. Hope you're still shedding some pounds over there. Bada Bing is still in here. Let's see. Sarai has been bowling for us for years. Yeah, he had a relatively good summer last year.
Evan Neal that he beat? Who's 73? I could be wrong. Who's 73? That's Evan Neal that he cooked. Yep.
Was it Evan Neal?
Yeah.
Oh man, Jets, dude. I'm telling you, man, Evan Neal, generational guy. Jets probably should have traded up for him or at least taken him, right? Like I don't know. That was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Not only like, and I'm not even saying like, I don't know, man. Like I'll have different opinions of some guys. Hey, he should be a late first. Hey, I don't like him as much as this guy. But saying Evan Neal is a generational player, having him as a top 5 pick, there's people I lost legitimate respect for because I don't know how you saw that. It was never. I get having disagreements, but that level of a disagreement, people had him number 1 on their board. And this is a guy I still respect, but I think Brandon Thorne, who's an O-line guru, I'm not going to put the quotes up there, O-line guru, had him as his number 1 overall prospect in that draft. I have no idea how. So either he's busy and he gets stats and stuff like that, and then he just says that he's number 1. He watched a good game or 2 of him, but there's no way you could watch Evan Neal's 10, 12 games of his senior season or his last season. I don't know if he's a senior, probably a junior or sophomore, whatever, but and say that he's the number 1 player in the draft. I don't see how that's possible. And Brandon Thorne knows his stuff. I don't know how that happened. I literally have no idea. But I got a lot of shit for that one too. So I'll always dunk with the Evan Neal stuff.
Codrington can keep it going here.
14, 13, 12, we're same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some room to work here. Okay.
Bro, is he gonna be the 7th receiver?
He's a corner.
Oh yeah, 7th corner at that point.
Yeah.
I have JBC making the squad, but like, is he gonna make this team? He's been making moves.
There are also some injuries up in the air here because if Newman's not going to be here, what happens with that? I think JBC will be fine. It sounded like, but
I was assuming health, right? Like, okay, let's say that Newman's out for 3 weeks. Is he going to be on the 53-man roster if he's healthy? That's kind of how I do it. It's a little bit of like gymnastics to do with the injuries and all that stuff. Who's out? Who's not? Surratt tackled that Falcons quarterback last preseason in the rain. I'm trying to think of the exact player talking about here.
Oh,
Brownlee. Oh, there you go. Brownlee with a catch. Okay. It's the third one I've ever seen in an actual game. Let's say. Dan, listen, I don't give them so much more credit than like I don't kind of like appeal to authority of these guys. We've seen them make some terrible moves. So I don't have the ultimate respect for these guys. So they may be watching and be like, oh, he made a tackle. Now he's back on the squad here.
Is he?
Dude. Oh, he's gone.
Oh!
He's gone. He's spun out of it. All right, Izzy.
Welcome
driving
to the
his
roster.
legs, man. Yeah, he's having an impressive preseason. Okay. All right, Izzy. I just want to see the replay before I ask the next question from Patrick. Mid zone, cut up field, running his legs, 3 tacklers. All right. Nice, man. 2 arms on the ball in traffic. All right, Izzy. Nice play. Patrick asked, actually. Pull back. For a touchdown. 0 line down the middle. Patrick asked, how do you feel about a receiving core? Think we make a move to sign anybody else? I would say no. The thing I think you could add more to it. Like, I'm not so comfortable with the depth, but based on everything we've been hearing, obviously, Rodgers likes Lazard, right? So he's gonna have somewhat of a role. Gibson's a guy who apparently has stepped up this summer. So how many do you need? Like, could you, if the Jets signed a receiver 6 or 5, okay, fine. But I kind of think they like their own guys too much to do that. Gibson's going to have a role. Corey's going to have a role. Lazard is your 4 or your 5. I just can't see them signing another guy. Do I think it's do I think it's in the realm of the possibilities? Probably not, actually. Would I think the Jets are crazy for doing so? I wouldn't. I'd argue that Lazard is not even like Russell at sometimes, but I think Rodgers makes him capable, right? So I would say no. I don't think they add anybody, even though I don't think they'd be crazy for doing so. Thoughts on that, Nanya? Do you want to add any receivers or?
No, I was just looking at the replay of that run. I don't see it. Even though the receiver depth hasn't stood out that much, just it seems like they're okay with it, just based on their actions. I think Gibson's development might be the big part of that. They seem to really like what he's shown and trust him as maybe your starting slot in the first game over Lazard. I mean, we'll see how those two guys, how their usage compares. But it seems like Gibson's development is kind of maybe blocked any desperation that they may have had for signing receiver. Now, whether that's right or wrong, I think we'll find out. But just judging on what they're doing, I don't think we're going to see that.
I think it's a really good point too, because early in the offseason, like we were talking about the receiver core without really mentioning Gibson, because Gibson last year, like again, let's be real here. He had a really nice punt return for a touchdown, in week one, and then didn't do anything good really after that. So we were kind of considering him a roster bubble guy. But considering the fact that you have guys like Sabo saying he's their starting slot and he's actually getting legitimate reps, he's kind of elevated himself this summer. So I don't think there's a huge need for it anymore, assuming that they're right in their Gibson praise. So yeah, I would say no. Eagle Fang says Newman's out with a shoulder injury and Yeboah is doubtful. Is it worse to be out than doubtful? Like is Newman more injured than Kenny Yeboah there? Should we be concerned? I don't know. Is he's playing well? Max Mitchell is on one knee. Yeah, okay. I'm catching up to the chat a little bit. I think Izzy has a higher ceiling than Isaiah Davis. Ceiling, yeah, sure, I guess, because you're talking about like explosion, but I definitely like Isaiah Davis more than Izzy. Isaiah Davis is he's really powerful, good vision, good in short areas. I like it. I like Isaiah Davis a lot. Izzy has a higher ceiling, I would say, because he's more athletic in terms of like straight line speed and stuff. But let's see. Hold on, injuries.
Conklin getting interviewed.
Is he going to say anything of note, Nanya? Can you hear him saying anything?
I have it muted.
Oh, okay. I have it on like a little bit, just so I can hear some excitement.
Yeah, we're really excited. We have high expectations. We're working real hard. Obviously, it didn't go the way we wanted to last year, but we really feel like this locker room's come together.
There you go. Perfect. That's why I never understand like player interviews. Like, I guess it's cool to get like a player, but they all say the same stuff. It's all stock answers. You don't really get anything interesting.
Asking them, what's it like working with Aaron Rodgers? Yeah, just his leadership is tremendous. He's like another coach out there on the field. You could just get to the
because
line.
Hackett blows. Like, holy shit. No, I think it's a thing where, like, especially if, like, let's say I was to interview Conklin, he's not going to give me anything. Now, in a situation, let's say he's on it's Taylor Lewan and who's the other guy? Will Compton, I believe it is. Like, if he was on their podcast, like, maybe around other players, or you'd be a little bit more loose, you'd say something. Or what's what Ryan Clark does with it's Ryan Clark, Fred Taylor, and is it Crowder? Channing Crowder or whatever his name was. They do a podcast as well. I think it's a Pivot podcast. That's what it is. Because I listened to a few Jets on there. I think Sauce is on there, and Gibson was on, or not Gibson.
Kinley offside.
Garrett, well,
falling apart.
Okay, McGregor back on. There we go. Until he makes another play, we'll put him back maybe. Yeah, I think players are more willing to maybe open up to other players and stuff. But even then, you're kind of grasping at straws. It's more the guys who are retired who I think are the better interviews. You don't really get anything from players. They all say the same shit. It's like, how do you feel about Aaron Rodgers? I think he's gonna be really good. People are like, oh, you do? It's like, and even if he did, like, what is he like? Yeah, he sucks, man. Like this season's gonna be awful. Like they all just say the same shit. Zach would have held on to it and ran out of that. Zach, in that situation that Martinez just had, he would have taken a safety. He'd have Dan Orlovsky'd it or just fell down in the end zone. Can't wait for a week. Well, yeah, I'm super pumped. I'm at my buddy's house watching it, and then Titans week. Hopefully, it's a nice little breeze. It was that 1:00 game, and the home opener. Going to the home opener at a solid. There's a hold called from the side judge. Illegal block is something. I'm going Giants though. Giants penalty. I hope we can see a touchdown. Oscar the Grouch says. Well, you got it. You got it a few minutes ago, Oscar the Grouch. Attack, yeah.
Illegal formation.
Giants?
Yeah.
Obviously. Patak on the top of the Excel spreadsheet, Nadia.
Yeah.
A first round pick too. Yeah, Jack Crispy. He was a first round pick in his first year. He had like 7.5 sacks, right? I think it was his first year. Obviously I don't know. Maybe you have to ask a Falcon person, but what happened to Tack, where he was a 7.5 sack guy, 5 the year after or whatever it was, and he just wasn't on the NFL roster last year.
I think he had some injuries. There were a couple injury. It doesn't look like it's affecting him right now, just based on the explosiveness. But I'm pretty sure he had a couple injury-prone seasons. But he kind of just fell off with his production.
Speaking of falling off and not being in the NFL and all this stuff, why did Tariq Cohen put up a picture of him in a Jets uniform the other day, like what if or something like that, whatever he said on Twitter? Like, was he just trolling for engagement, like wanting people to be like, yeah, come back?
Did he?
Like,
I didn't see that.
Yeah, was he trying to get like one final, like, hey man, come back, like one final appreciation from NFL fans before he knows he just gets fat again and falls off? Like why do that? It was just weird. Do you see it on Twitter? Did you look it up?
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it was let's see if I can find it. Ooh, sack. Who's in there first? Taylor? Was that Taylor or Hector? Taylor.
Taylor.
All right, let's see.
Let's see this. Oh wow! Cooked him.
I didn't see the freaking replay. It didn't.
Barnes
He
might have
deleted
stole that sack in terms of the stats.
He might have
deleted Taylor.
I think he either deleted it or I got trolled. I'm pretty sure. Was it in the Slack? Did we put it in the Slack? I hope we put it in the Slack. So then it's usually legit.
Oh, yeah. Another one.
Oh, yeah. McGregor and Taylor. Taylor's in there again?
Yeah. It's on my roster. All right.
Put him back in the roster.
I've had him on there. So
let's see. I'm trying to find it. Maybe I'm smoking crack. Maybe I got caught. I might have gotten caught. I don't think I did though. I'm pretty sure it was from his account. He might have deleted it because he got a lot of shit on that tweet, I believe. Yeah, whatever. 3rd and 26. I didn't see that sack at all. Like who actually created the press? Oh, McGregor again, dude.
Oh my god.
Was Taylor in there again too?
Tommy Cutlets.
Taylor was in there 3 times in a row. By the way. Damn, man. McGregor and Taylor back to back, right?
Let's see this again.
Bull rush?
Little stun.
Straight bull rushed. Wow. Tommy Cutlets not having a good time.
Not happy with his 4th string O-line.
I wish I could rewatch those sacks though. Sacks on the last 3 plays, awesome. Wow.
Let's block this.
4th and 32. This is some Madden shit. All right, what you got, Codrington?
A lot of room here.
Flag for what?
Oh.
Holding, kicking team, replay. Sweet. Do it. Give me another one. Give Codrington another one.
No, it looks like their offense coming out.
Nah.
Well, let's see, though.
I'm hearing that Blewett has been holding out of cornhole training camp. Are you talking about that kind of it's slightly valid. Actually, it's quite valid because my buddy asked me to go to the game tonight because we have season tickets. I'm like, for some reason, it's a weird thing. I like to walk into the stadium when it's the real thing. Like I don't like to walk into the stadium and there's like 30,000 people in there. It just doesn't feel like anything. And you waste a lot of time driving there and stuff. But I like it to be the real thing. So with that being said, if I went today, I would have been playing cornhole. So I kind of am holding out of cornhole right now. So it's actually relatively valid there, Meatball Farm. But cornhole is a game of choice at our tailgate. So we used to bring like can jam and stuff, but we figured out that drunk throwing frisbees is not always the best result because like I could somewhat control football if I'm drinking. Like, yeah, it might be a little bit off, whatever, like a throw here or there. But Frisbee is quite wild at times. It could travel. So I don't do that. So let's see. Joe, you were very right about Evan Neal. I was very, very right about Evan Neal. I think Evan Neal was a 4th round draft pick to me, or 4th or 5th round draft pick. So, and even then, he's still sucking for that. Like even if he's a 4th round draft pick right now, you'd say, oh, he still sucks for that. So, yeah. I appreciate you, Dale Murphy. Izzy, touchdown. Okay, I'm catching up. Let's see. No more. Saying as soft as Sharman. Yeah, he was soft as Sharman. 5. What is this? 5 TD run replay, Nanya? I can't click on that though. I'll see some stuff on Twitter, and obviously we'll have the film tomorrow, right? I'll probably have the show up relatively early. Well, I hope early this week. Even though it doesn't matter though, because we don't have a game next week, so it actually doesn't really matter. Son of JT says, I was never asking for a Banacanda to be traded or cut. Got to give him a chance. He's just a second-year player. Yeah, I would say people were lower. I would say people were quick to be low on Izzy, right? And I'm not even defending him necessarily, but it felt like, given his opportunity last year, people were really quick to turn on Izzy. Like, oh, he sucks. And it's like last year he had no opportunities. And then this preseason, like where did the hate come for Izzy? Is kind of what I'm turning this into, Nania, because it seems like with these other guys, we'll give them chances, 5th, 6th, 7th round picks, whatever it is. You know, we were getting who's a running back we had for years who we all want to give a chance to, like Josh Adams, Adams, and like all these people. But like Izzy didn't have a great year last year behind a trash offensive line with a trash coordinator with a trash, all this stuff, and it was like nobody really gave him a shot this year. Like why not have Izzy at the 4 and see if he develops? I'm fine with it. Like he has breakaway speed. He's been showing some good power recently. I think Jets fans were relatively quick to turn on Izzy. I'm not saying like, hey, defending him like he's great or anything like that. I don't want to be like people to think I'm taking that stance but was a little bit abnormal with the Izzy hate or the Izzy, the turning on Izzy so quickly.
I mean, part of it could have been the fact that they drafted the 2 running backs and it maybe pointed people to think that they're down on him, which, maybe contributed a little bit. But, yeah, I mean, it was a small sample in his rookie year. I mean, I have not been super high on him just because, outside of that one run against the Panthers, he didn't show too much between the preseason and the regular season. And that, his blocking wasn't great. He had a couple fumbles. Like there were other things too outside of not making a lot of plays as a runner. So I have definitely been down on him, but yeah, like I noticed last week he was running harder. He's carried over big time into this game. So like for sure, he deserves his time and opportunity just like any other young player. And he's taken advantage of it these last 2 games. And the more I look at this roster, I do wonder if there is a spot for him. It's especially considering, you always have to think about what are the odds of you losing this guy if you waive him, because the practice squad is always there to call people up, especially now there's more flexibility on game days to, use these players off your practice squad as essentially part of your roster. So with him being a 5th round pick last year and a really young guy at that. Oh, Kuntz.
Kuntz he like, and it looked like it was a little bit high. He probably slowed down to catch it.
I think it went right through his hands.
He just makes no plays.
Let's see replay.
He's so bad. He's so bad. Can we just get rid of Kuntz, please? Like, I don't care. 999 RS. He just makes no plays. Like the play last week, he had like again. I'm not saying anybody should be in the NFL. Like I don't know how to phrase it. I'm not going to try to get into that. But like he showed no athleticism on the sideline trying to toe tap there. Like there are people who are throwing the ball at like 6 years old who know how to toe tap on the sideline. Like Kuntz looks like he had no idea what to do there. All right, Martinez. All right, well, turn it up. Last 3 plays for the Jets: Leonard Taylor sack, Braden McGregor, Leonard Taylor sack, Braden McGregor, Leonard Taylor sack. Yeah, I'd have them both making the roster and cut Clemens, to be completely honest here, but I don't think it's going to happen. I watched a while.
Definitely in, given that he's not playing today.
I watched a while on a pro Giants channel. It was like a wake, made me appreciate what we have. You're talking about like you went to a Giants channel and watched a stream of the game. Interesting. Thank you for being here and a compliment. Try to make it interesting. We had somebody up here who said it before. They're like, thank you for streaming these because it makes it slightly, more interesting, which we appreciate. Yeah, go Martinez, go.
Martinez.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go, Martinez. All right, making moves.
Let's go.
Put him on the roster. Fuck Aaron Rodgers. Swings like a pendulum for sure. It does. Spinmax Dave says, what is the Jets' strongest position group and what is the weakest? Nani, go. Hit me.
I mean, Martinez has got his explosion is pretty legit when he decides to tuck and run. Just got to say that. Strongest position group. Offensive line? Corners.
There's only one acceptable answer. Yeah, there's no wiggle room there. It's corner.
Corner, definitely. After that, though, does offensive line have an argument here?
Let's do the top 3 position groups on the Jets. Nania, go ahead. Who's your 2 and your 3?
Corner, offensive line, and does D-line actually, I don't even know if D-line is top 3. Running back. Corners, offensive line, running back. No, maybe linebacker. Yeah, because you have two reliable guys. So I'd say
and a good backup in Sherwood.
Yeah,
I would say corner
linebacker.
I would say corner undoubtedly 1. I would say I agree with you with offensive line. Actually, can I cheat real quick? I'm gonna cheat real quick, and then I'll give you a different answer. Corner's 1, quarterback is 2. Because you have a really good backup there in Aaron Rodgers. And then, but without that, let's say corner 1, offensive line 2, because you have Fashanu as a backup, which is obviously great. And then I would say 3 is running back, linebacker. I would probably say linebacker. I'll probably say linebacker because you have quite a few guys there. But I can see the argument for running back as well there. Weakest, I would go. Hold on, let me see if he gets this. No. Yeah, weakest. I would probably say. Man, it's really hard. I would say safety, but I like the depth at safety more than tight end. But with that being said, tight end would be 2 for me. And the only reason it beats out safety is because they don't have a Conklin level player at safety, in my opinion.
Right.
So I would say safety 1, tight end 2, and then your third weakest position group on the Jet. They don't really have a defensive tackle, but you have Q there, but still probably defensive tackle, right?
Would you put edge? Well, if Reddick is there, no.
Right. Assuming Reddick is there, Brownlee got locked up on that fourth down. They went for it and they threw it to Brownlee. It wasn't even close.
It's hard to even say receiver because if you have Garrett Wilson and Mike Williams, it's like who cares about the questions after that? Yeah. And even with D tackles, like just Quinn and Williams is more impact than a lot of teams get from that whole unit. So, yeah, I mean, the only reason safety is number 1, like I think when you go down 3 to 4, like 4 deep at safety, it's pretty strong. I think relative to most teams, it's just a lack of like your best guy is probably average or above average between Adams and Clark, whoever that is. So it's just like the Jets have so many positions with elite high-end talent that safety stands out for its lack of having that caliber of player. So that puts it there. And like you said, even Conklin, I would say, probably better tight end than either of those guys are at safety. So, but I think if safety and tight end are your 2 weakest positions, I think that's about as good of a place as you could be because it's probably the 2 best positions to be your weakest, I would say. So I think it shows that they're strong in the right spots, I think.
Mm-hmm. We have a super chat that I did not see until now, so I apologize for answering it 3 minutes late. But from Tony Lee again, appreciate the double super chat. Who would you say are the 3 draft prospects over the years you were the most right about, good or bad? Talk about like in a positive way or a bad way. I can give you 4 that come to the top of my mind really quickly in terms of guys who I stand either for or against. don't know if you could stand against somebody. Evan Neal, right, Nania? We know that one.
Yeah.
Treylon Burks, I was very, very, very against him, and he has been absolutely nothing at the NFL level. And then there's two on the Jets currently who I was really, really high on, who, they were top picks. They were top picks, so maybe I shouldn't like gloat about it. But Quinnen Williams and Sauce, I was all about drafting those guys. And then they worked out really, really well. I'm trying to think about like anybody else in terms of like who I was really, really strongly for or against. There's definitely more I could think about. Or I can definitely think about more. Can I come up with any answers is the question. Yeah, I think about more, but I would say those four come to mind really quickly. I definitely stand for Sauce since like January, February, and then everybody started turning into him or turning on to him in, February, March, April. Screaming when they drafted him, though, legitimately screaming downstairs, pumped up. Sauce chains everything. Sauce jersey ordered immediately, and now he's the best corner in the NFL. And same thing with Q. I was one of those guys in that year, and it'd be interesting to see like going back now, but I was almost in the camp of drafting Q over Nick Bosa. Even if Nick Bosa was available, that's how high I was on Q that year. And he's been top 3 defensive tackle in the league. So I'm trying to think about anybody more negative, though. There's definitely been more than one or more than just those two. I don't know. Henry Ruggs, I wasn't high on just because of he didn't really do a lot to be a number 1 receiver in that draft. So I don't know, Nani, who are some of yours that you've been really high on or really low on over the years? And I know you're more like you stay more away from the draft than I do. I try to get, the kind of the top like 8 to 10 guys the Jets may draft and do reviews on them. I know you kind of stay away until they're drafted, but is there anybody like any players who kind of stick out who you were like really against that you didn't want over the years or for that you really wanted?
I'm trying to think. 2018 is probably the most intense I've ever been on a draft just because of that quarterback class. I love Josh Rosen. That did not pan out. I did not like Josh Allen. I mean, I liked him. People had very strong opinions that year. Some people thought he was undraftable. Then obviously he was a first-round pick and has justified that. I thought he was like a second-round quarterback. I didn't hate him as much as some people did, thinking he had like no shot, but I also didn't. I wanted the Jets to have no part of him, so I was happy when the Bills drafted him. That didn't pan out. I liked Lamar Jackson. I think I liked him more than most people, and I would have been. I did not want him over Mayfield or Darnold, but I kind of wanted the Jets to draft him, or thought it would be exciting if they did. So those are some of my thoughts on those quarterbacks that year. I remember in 2017, I really liked George Kittle. He just stood out to me because I remember the Jets didn't have remember Eric Tomlinson? He was our blocking tight end and he was not very good. So
can you refer to him by his real name of Baby Gronk, please?
Baby Gronk. Yeah.
Baby Gronk.
So I remember wanting to see which late round tight ends could fill that and liking his blocking, but also seeing he had some yak. So
that's a good poll. If you were saying that before that draft, that's
I have really this. I used to have a Weebly. Weebly? It's like a website. You can make your own custom website thing. A Weebly website where I wrote NFL blogs.
Am I too old for that? There's one of two things, Nani, and again, maybe
this
the doc
is
is up
old.
here.
I don't even know if it's still up.
I was gonna say either one, I'm too old for that, or two, I'm not enough of a nerd for that one. I don't know what is. I've never heard of Weebly.
It's just you can make a custom website. That's all it is. But I used to write blogs when I was in high school, in the middle of class in 2016, 17.
Dude, Leonard Taylor's going off. Sorry, he had a really nice tackle for loss there. Chase down the.
I know no one wants to hear me talk about this, but I have a 2017 Jets 7-round mock draft that I just pulled up. This is from April 2017. I had them getting TJ Watt at number 46 and George Kittle at number 121. So there we go.
Imagine. Taylor, by the way, really good job. Just I think he got down blocked on him. He down blocked, stood him up really well, pulled himself through, arm over, and then chased down the running back for a tackle for a loss. Leonard Taylor is balling out on defense right now. Taylor McGregor, MVPs on defense. Is he on offense, right? Top 3, probably.
This is the most exciting game we've seen so far. I think
the first one was pretty good. Even though this game has
I feel like more
plays.
splash in this game.
Yeah. Even though that first one you had freaking you had a Martinez throwing some heaters though. Like Martinez was doing pretty good in that first one. The defense is playing really well though. I like our backup linebackers. So do I. Yeah, I like Surratt as a 5 or a 4 or 5. I like Barnes as a 4 or 5 developmental guy. Barnes with really good athleticism. And then obviously I like Sherwood a lot as well. Wide receiver might be the weakest with no Mike Williams. Yeah, if he was. Awuzie is a solid player too.
This is my mock draft from 2017.
Zay Jones not so bad for a third round pick. Anthony Walker, a guy who's bounced around the NFL a little bit, but solid like kind of a journeyman linebacker, but still rosterable. George Kittle, sweet, and then your last 3 complete bust. But those top 4 are pretty good. Oh, hold on. Wait. Well, it didn't really work out so much. But I would say OJ Howard, not great, but Awuzie, Watt, Jones, Kittle is solid.
We can live with that.
Oh, sorry, Walker as well. So you got that 5 in a row is actually pretty solid. But OJ Howard not so much.
That would have been more than this guy did in his whole tenure.
Hold on, what is it? What's JETF? Hashtag jet up. Let's do this. What is this? Is definitely like a high school.
I was 16.
Colts, so the Jets trade up from the Jets trade back.
Yeah,
back from 6 to do this. What year was this?
2017. So I kind of foreshadowed that they traded in the next draft with Darnold.
I'm about to say, was this the draft that they because the Jets traded the Colts? They had
6. They went up to 3.
They had 6. They went up to 3. Okay. For a second, I was like, did they? In this one, did you somehow I misconstrued the wires that you connect? I'm like, did they trade back now? Like, what the hell happened? Like, this is a Sam Darnold draft. But interesting. I like the Awuzie, Watt, Jones, Walker, Kittle. That's solid right there. Tight end is a good one. Is it Meatball Parm says, is it just me or does Brownlee offer nothing? Nania thoughts, does Brownlee offer nothing? And I don't want to be too harsh on the guy. I think he has some good athletic upside. My problem is he's done nothing on the field minus one catch in training camp last year. And then you have one play this preseason as well. Hold on, give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, I think he potentially could offer something. It's just that he hasn't proven yet that there's any trait of his that you can count on, because preseason games between last year and this year, just not consistent production. And then brief regular season appearance last year didn't show much either. But a young player, as with Izzy, as with a lot of these guys, Newman was showing development. Like, they all deserve opportunities to develop and show improvement. And he's still a young player, and there's clearly traits there with athleticism, acrobatic catchability. Just you want to see more flashes of it in the game so you could really count on it. Is the only thing with him. Yeah.
Funny story. So this just happened now. So I pre-made a coffee to be done at 8:30 for me. And it's an Irish. It's supposed to be an Irish coffee. Put a little bit of whiskey in there. Wife just knocks on the door, gives me the coffee. I'm like, there's supposed to be whiskey in there. She's like, I put whiskey in there. I'm like, oh, awesome. That's an awesome moment right there. They didn't have to go upstairs for it.
Sweet.
Field goal made. Okay. Yeah. Irish coffee delivered
95 kicker or 99.
Back. Nani, don't live in the past. You're such a boomer, dude. Why not have him be 95, right? Disgusting. What do you have against kickers? Okay, Donnie, next question. What do you have against kickers wearing numbers in the 90s? Go ahead. Why do you have that bias?
It's offensive to what I'm used to. It's just jarring. I can't stand it.
Was that a microaggression? Are you angry now? Are you angry now?
I'm mad.
I super microaggressed. Okay. Priya Mitchell says, I can see why you say that meatball about Brownlee. The problem, he's a tweener. I can see why you say that meatball about Brownlee. Too much vodka or
hold
on. No. I have a perfect drop for this.
Meatball in the chat.
I have hold on. But still, I have a perfect chat for that. Or perfect drop for this.
What the hell is even that?
What the hell is even that?
There we go. Son JT, I remember when most people against Josh Allen when we drafted Darnold because of his completion percentage. Small college. There was a decent amount against Josh Allen. Nobody thought he'd be good. There's so many, or I'm sure there were some people who thought he'd be good, but how many videos of Bills fans like cursing the pick, were out there? There's a lot.
It's definitely an outlier that he became good. I mean, he barely completed half of his passes at Wyoming. So during his rookie year, he was really, really struggled with accuracy. It's the leap he took after his first year that was a really unprecedented jump.
Joseph Patterson says you hated on Thibodeau for no reason at all. I think you might have been in one commenter who's giving me some shit about like talking about his red flags. I didn't hate on Thibodeau. I was bringing up the fact that he had red flags that people discussed. And Joe might have been one of those guys like, you can't confirm it, so you can't talk about it. It's not a thing where like I personally investigated it. I talked about his red flags in terms of character because NFL teams brought it up. So I mentioned it. And really Thibodeau, and I think Rivka said this the other day, like Giants fans, the ones who are legit. I'm talking about the ones who know what they're watching. A lot of them say like the 10 sack season he had last year was kind of a lot of like effort sacks and design, wasn't necessarily a lot of him. So I'm interested to see how his career turns out. But in terms of like talking Thibodeau over, whatever, over Sauce, like, yeah, it was all day Sauce over him. And even Trayvon Walker, I liked more than him. I probably liked George Karlaftis over him. And I think JJ was probably on a similar level in terms of ranking. So I would say hate on him for no reason. I discussed red flags, Okay, Kareem Mitchell. So a player like Lazard cannot be replaced because he's 6'4" with decent hands and knows the scheme football IQ. He was literally benched last year for 4 games he was healthy for. He does not have decent hands. He probably has the worst hands I've ever seen. And 6'4" means nothing. Zach Kuntz is 6'8", and we just saw a pass go right through his hands. Size means nothing if you can't play football. And decent hands, I'm not trying to be a dick here, but since when does he have decent hands? He has literally some of the worst hands you're going to see at the NFL level in terms of for a guy who plays consistently. His hands are god awful. Crispy, do either of you ever play Madden?
I do
not really.
Very. I haven't bought Madden since I think 21.
Daniel Murphy says, how are we going to keep Leonard Taylor III, McGregor, and Tack all in the final 53? They like Watts a lot too. Going to be some tough decisions to make. I don't think they all do unless Clemens was cut. So I think one of those 3 are going to have to go. And maybe I'm putting words in your mouth, Nania, but I don't think you'd have all 3 making the 53, do you? Or unless you do, did you find a way to make all 3 of those guys make the roster? Because that's legitimately one of the hardest decisions on the roster is cutting one of those guys for me.
Yeah, I don't currently, unless McGregor makes a strip sack, maybe I'll throw him on here. I'm just reacting to every play in this game. It'll change the roster. But no, it is tough because at this point, like Taylor already feels like kind of a bonus. Like he can fit on there. It's just, with him and McKinley, assuming Reddick is here on the roster, like, you only have 3 tight ends on here. I only have 6 receivers. So there's a few positions where you're going kind of light to make that happen already. So it would be a lot. Like you're talking about 12 defensive linemen at that point? 11 defensive linemen.
Which is hot. That's a lot.
Which is a lot. So, yeah.
I'm going to take this question.
Izzy out there, but like then you're only at 3 running backs, so it's tough.
Yeah. I'm going to after this play, I'm going to change this question a little bit, but let me see what happens on 3rd and 5. 2x2 inverted slot. Tighter splits. Let's see. Nice.
Let's go. Brownlee, there he is.
Put him back on the squad.
He's back. Robbie just put out his prediction a few minutes ago. I don't know if you saw it. And he had Brownlee on there.
Do we care about Robbie's opinion? I'm kidding.
These beat
Who was
reporters.
he? Who was
we don't
he?
care about them.
Yeah, freaking beat reporters. I'm surprised he's not complaining about how long this game is taking right now. You know, that's what he should be doing. That's all he's good for. Let's see. What rookies this year were you high on? I will transition this question to I think maybe this is where you're taking it, Bada Bing. What rookies this year were you higher on than the consensus? Nadia.
This year's draft class?
I definitely have my answer. I know who I was higher on than everybody else.
So yeah, for players drafted this year.
Yeah, who were you higher on than the consensus? Like, or maybe where they went, maybe other Jets fans.
I know I was probably lower. In terms of lower, definitely I would say Bowers. I was lower on. I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to answer this one. I really did not go too deep into this draft class.
Yeah, you're right. He probably means.
I have to admit it.
He probably means. Actually, Bada Bing, answer in the chat. Do you mean for just the Jets? Because I was thinking this.
Scott.
That's a pass interference. That looks like a pass interference.
Where's that PI?
It looked like a pass interference. He couldn't come back for the ball there. That's not a pass interference, dude.
Oh, come on.
He literally had his arm in an arm bar. I'm not saying like an arm bar over the top, like he's grabbing him, dude. Brownlee's kind of pushing off a little bit there as well. But he's grabbing the collar. Yeah, that's a pass interference in my book. Especially because I have a little bit of bias. Yeah, Bada Bing, in terms of I kind of took this as more of a Jets question, like what rookies were you high on for the Jets? I would say I was higher on Isaiah Davis than most fans, undoubtedly, when he was first drafted. In terms of rookies, who I was higher on than the consensus. Actually, I can look at my board. One guy, people that if you've been listening to the show for at least a couple of months, you know that I was higher on than I would say 95% of the consensus was JC Latham. I love JC Latham's game.
And that's a good call. He went way earlier than the consensus was mocking him. I mean, and pretty much no one talked about him to the Titans.
Yeah, it's a JC Latham, and even and the thing is too, like once they get to the NFL, I don't have control over their situation. I don't have control over their coaching. Like there's so much stuff that I don't have control over. But I could say for JC Latham, a lot of people had him as like tackle 4 or 5, going in the teens, going in the late 20s. There was people who said he wasn't even a first round pick, which I think is asinine. And he was a second tackle taken overall in the draft. So in terms of like my evaluation compared to others, I was definitely right on Latham in terms of at least where he went, because again, a lot of people were OT4, OT5 with Latham. So him, and then Neighbors, I was really, really high on, like really, really high on. I wanted the Jets to trade up for him, and I was lower on Alt. I would say lower on Alt. Not saying that he's a bad player. He's not neither or anything like that. But people were saying Alt generational. I didn't agree with that. But this year, Latham more so than other people, and he went second overall. So far, Latham has been a hit for me in terms of like backing him and then him getting drafted second offensive tackle. Chicken Jenkins. Hey, by the way, I appreciate the questions and stuff in here, guys, because obviously this is a game where not a ton happens. So you guys filling up the chat helps Nani and I talk and answer questions.
Yes.
So for sure, keep throwing stuff in here. And then at the end of the day, I'm going to throw probably another membership in here, because why not?
I like that they're lining up here instead of kicking field goals. Who cares about a field goal?
Now they're kicking a field goal.
Just line up again.
Here comes a field goal. They're kicking a field goal. What do you guys think happens if the Max Mitchell and Newman injuries are bad? Bad, like out for the season, like out for a long time. Newman. So the question is, like, what do you think happens versus what do you think should happen? If Newman's injury is bad, I would sign an offensive lineman. I don't have faith in anybody else. I know there's the Cole Laval love and all that stuff. I'm not going to say I've seen enough in preseason to say I'm comfortable with him starting in an actual, or being a primary backup in an actual game. Oh, he missed it.
Ooh.
Was that Zerline or Seibert? Oh, Zerline.
Oh, maybe Seibert making a push for Greg the Leg's job.
Yeah, right. Hold on, Nani. Let me make an adjustment to my 53. All right, there you go. If they're bad, if Newman was bad, I would sign a guy. I think the Jets probably just bring on a Chris Glazer or who's the other? It's probably Glazer, I guess. I don't really know. There you go.
Go. Cybert is in.
Look at that. And if Max Mitchell's injured and it's going to be more long term, do they have to replace Max Mitchell? Like, he's the fifth tackle. Do they even need to really do anything at that point? I don't. They might just carry 4 tackles at that point, right? And is there another guy? Like, do they carry Austin Deckles if Max Mitchell's injured for a while?
Yeah, especially tackle. Just doesn't seem like there's much else to go to. I mean, interior you could justify like Hansen, Laval, but I'm with you. I think Newman is the one guy who showed enough progress to where you felt confident in, okay, maybe we don't have to sign someone else.
Like, legitimately impressive.
Yeah, and he did it at multiple spots too, which you put him next to Schweitzer, and it's like you have 2 multi-position backups there. So if he is expected to miss significant time, then, you got the cut down wire coming up in a few days. Like, they should be looking to claim some of the top interior backups who become available if, they know he's going to miss significant time. So, yeah, it could be significant.
Meatball Parm says Jets collecting former first rounders on the D-line with Kinlaw, Tack, and Solomon Thomas. Is there anybody else that they've collected? No. No, nothing. I was literally just going to say Tack McKinley, but you already put it in here, Meatball. Your Crispy says, how are you guys on solid development of defense is absurd. How is his record without Zach is still however, his record without Zach is it still ass? The problem is just Crispy is the quarterbacks he's had minus Zach have been Tim Boyle, Trevor Siemian, Mike White, who got consistently banged up because the offensive line wasn't bad. So solid. It's interesting.
Josh Johnson.
I would actually take him over a lot of the guys we've had recently. A healthy Josh Johnson. But like the thing with Salah is it's both. It's like there's like almost like 2 sides of the spectrum where like it's really hard to evaluate him, but then there's still some things he's bad at. Like I think Salah in the media puts his foot in his mouth way too much. There are some times he has some connection to like veterans and stuff where he's like a little bit late to move on from guys. In my opinion, you had Dalvin Cook out there for way too many times or way too long last year. CJ Uzama. So I think he's a little bit late. Like he gives his veterans too much credit, in my opinion. Garrett Wilson not playing last year, until the second half, basically. Like there's some things I clock management. Like there's little things he can struggle with. Putting his foot in his mouth in the media and stuff. But with that being said, he's coached his team to 7-9 records the last 2 years with the worst quarterback play you're ever going to see. Right. So like, I don't think he's a bad coach. So I'm kind of like lukewarm on Salah. I don't think he's done an excellent job. I don't think he's done a poor job either though, because look at, again, who's going to win games with Zach Wilson and Tim Boyle on your team. Right. So I would say I'm kind of lukewarm on him, somewhere in the middle. I know that's maybe like a little bit of a cop-out answer, but that's where I am. I don't hate him. I don't love him.
No, I'd say I'm in a similar spot. I think there are legitimate criticisms from the offensive staff hires because, the defensive development has been great. That is the best thing that he has done since he's been here, and it's nothing to overlook because that's the main reason Aaron Rodgers is here. Is because the defense showed that it's so dominant that this team could be considered a quarterback away. And he did it quickly. The defense was awful in 2021. Yeah. With all those young players. It was young, but they bought into that and decided we're going to develop these guys. We're going to work through this. And they hit their ceiling really, really quickly. So they deserve a lot of credit for that. That all starts with him. I think clearly the players really like him. I think that matters, and they want to play for him. So I think he sets a good culture. Like it's been a positive culture. I think the defensive development is great, but I don't think his game management has been great in terms of 4th down, kick decisions, timeouts, things like that. You talked about the media aspect. There are things he can improve there. Like I said, offensive hires. Hackett, it is what it is. Was that part like necessary to get Rodgers? maybe an organizational thing.
You're dealing with the devil there. You had to do it. And the one thing I would add to the badness of Saleh too is the team showed up really flat for big games the last couple of years as well.
Oh yeah, that like elimination games. I think they didn't even score a touchdown in their last 3 games facing elimination.
Lions, Jags, Seahawks. There was the Dolphins. If they won that Dolphins game last year, Rodgers comes back. They got blown the hell out.
Yeah, so there are legitimate negatives. There are legitimate positives, and it's not always that a coach gets 3 years of winning 18 games and they get this far and have another chance. But I think these are very unique circumstances, and this is a year where he can show what he's made of, provided that the team is healthy. I mean, even if they're not, it's hard to go past 4 years of excuses, but I don't know. It depends. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, there are positives and negatives. But I praised him recently. I wrote an article. I like the way that he pushed them in camp this year because so many players talked about it. Rodgers said it was his hardest in 7-8 years. Quincy said it was his hardest since freshman year of college. Conklin said his hardest in the NFL. I like that he did that because, they struggled a lot with injuries, and I feel like it would be easy to say, like, okay, let's go lighter. Let's rest everybody. Like, let's play it safe. But he decided to push them even harder, and no one got hurt, at least major players, to this point. Knock on wood that they don't fall down the stairs or something. But, he pushed them harder, and they stayed healthy while doing that. And now you go into the season, and they're a lot more prepared than they have been in recent years because of that. And you think a lot of the major injuries that they've had, whether it was Carl Lawson, Becton, Rodgers, Brees, AVT, it's mostly early in the year or training camp. So I do wonder if they'll benefit from the fact that they went harder and they'll go into the season feeling more ready for the grind of the season than they have in recent years. So I like the aggressive approach that he took. And the fact that he balanced it by not forcing them into preseason games, I think that's a good way to counteract what he did in practice by giving them so many extra reps. I mean, Rodgers said that they had over the first team's players had gotten 300 more reps than they did last year. Or 300, but compared to this point last year. So, they really pushed it hard this year. And I give him a lot of credit for that. I feel like that could be a good change on the path to trying to improve your injury luck as much as you can within your control. So I give him credit for the way he's handled that aspect of this offseason. So we'll see if that plays out in a positive way in terms of injuries.
Yeah, and obviously a massive knock on wood here, right? They have not been very injured this offseason, so hopefully that's why. And really, just to emphasize the point of the development on defense, it's and legitimately, I'm not just being a homer here. Because I already said I'm lukewarm on the guy. Maybe I should be a little bit higher, kind of thinking about it. But the development on defense has been not just good, but elite, elite development on defense. JFM from a guy who was cut to a legitimate solid starter. Even Tack McKinley right now. Solomon Thomas was a guy who wasn't really great at all, and now he's at least a solid rotational player, which I think is an upgrade from what he was earlier in his career. Obviously at linebacker, you have a guy who's on the scrap heap in Quincy Williams, who develops into a all-pro linebacker. Tony Adams was a UDFA, who's now I think an okay starting safety in the league. You
have 5th-round pick.
You have Carter, 5th-round pick. You have Eccles, who's a solid rotational player, as a 6th-round pick, which you're gonna sign up for any single day for a 6th-round pick. You have UDFAs. You have his development on defense has been legitimately elite. Ashton Davis has taken steps, in the last few years. JBC Sherwood has developed this offseason. Sherwood, as a 5th-round pick, has developed. His defensive development is elite. Is there anybody on the defensive line? I think I'm forgetting maybe somebody on the defensive line. Jermaine Johnson. Jermaine Johnson is a guy who was, first. Now he's a solid defensive end in the league. His development has been elite on the defensive side of the ball. Give him a quarterback, and let's see what happens. Again, I do think there's some clock management stuff. I do think the Jets have shown up flat for big games against Seahawks, Dolphins, Lions the last few years. So hopefully, he'll improve there. because we're gonna have a lot of big games this year. Hopefully. So good and bad for sure, but lukewarm, right? Like how much longer can we have losing seasons? But I get the excuses. Like who's going to win with Zach Wilson and Tim Boyle? Zach Wilson is fighting to make a roster right now, and Tim Boyle it wasn't even good in college. Like I don't know how he's in the NFL. I don't know who he has a video of. I don't know if he has some like Epstein Island type documents here or whatever he has. But how he made the NFL is wild to me because he had a negative. He had more turnovers than touchdowns in college. And like a small school, it's not like he went to Bama. Like he plays for some like lower program, and he still couldn't throw more touchdowns and picks. And he's in the NFL. Like why? So he has some type of video of some guy banging somebody's wife or something. I don't know how he's around, but here we are. Friend of the CYJ podcast. I'm sorry, Nadia. I don't know if you want to comment on that, but he's not a friend of my podcast. So. Let's see. Bada Bing says, what rookies in the NFL do you think will be good this year? I think I can kind of take the bailout answer and just say the top ones, right? Like Malik Neighbors should be pretty good. I think J.C. Latham will be good. I think Marvin Harrison will be good. Actually, speaking of hits too, I don't know how tuned into the draft coverage you were. I was really high on Trent McDuffie actually that year as well. Trent McDuffie has been really, really good slot corner for the Chiefs, as well as George Karlaftis, and George Karlaftis has been very, very solid in the NFL as well. Those are two more hits that I've been thinking about a little bit. But yeah, good. Top guys: Neighbors, Harrison. Bada Bing. So this isn't my full-time job. Maybe eventually it will be, but I only watched. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I watched 9 prospects. So like. Out of those guys, we're talking about the top guys. I think Neighbors and Harrison will be good. I don't think it's the answer you're looking for. Let's see. Bill's staff. Yes, you did. He's talking about me saying I didn't hate on him for no reasons. Maybe I did. Joseph Patterson. I don't know. I didn't mean to. The Lazard comment was in reference to why Brownlee won't start over him. Okay. Yeah, I would take Lazard over Brownlee, right? If you had to, Donnie, with no cap implications right now on the roster for the betterment of the Jets in 2024, would you take Lazard over Brownlee? Yes, right? At that point, you do.
100%. Yeah.
Like Lazard has had these seasons where he's been like his last season or two in Green Bay, he was okay, like at best an okay player, but last year he was dreadful for the Jets. And to me, people make too many excuses for him. Now, like I think that with Rodgers back, he could be better, but to excuse him saying that, oh, his best friend was injured and, he was disheartened. Like, how fucking soft that is? You're making $11 million a year to play a game. You better try, right? Like, I'm sorry. You got to try at least. You can't just, his friend got hurt. He was sad, so he didn't want to play this week. It's like, what? Like, this is the excuses we're making for professional athletes. I get it. Like, it's sucking, but you shouldn't be a healthy scratch as a $11 million a year receiver, right?
Yeah, it's the effort thing that made his season last year the most troubling. I think he'll bounce back a little bit, be a solid 4th, 5th receiver, which is when I think he was at his best. Those first 3 years when he was only getting like 50 targets a year, I feel like that's when he was at his best, and he'll probably get a number similar to that this year. So, all right, second half.
Mm-hmm. Second half incoming will probably do like a fourth quarter 53-man roster prediction, which actually, none. I don't know. Are you recording CYJ after this, or are you recording that tomorrow?
I don't know yet. I don't know. We have been doing it right after the game, but I mean, a little late. A and B. It's the 3rd preseason game. Not a lot going on.
So just more
interesting. Yeah.
Just more fastball questions for you, Nania. Why is your new co-host better or worse than Ben Blessington? Minus him being much more on time and you guys actually putting podcasts out every week.
No comment. No comment.
No comment. I'm just here so I won't get fined.
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
All right, let's see. I just drafted Greg.
You asking that question. You remember that one?
Daniel Murphy. My question is here: why are you in a fantasy league that's drafting before the preseason games are done? That is my question here. None of my leagues have drafted so far. I'm on 5 of them. So Let's see. Which we are JetX League. I'm in 5. I'm in 5 leagues this year, maybe 6. I don't know if the JetX like fan or listener league is in continue. We'll see. But right now I'm in 5. So
I'm only doing 2.
2. We have the JetX Writers League, and then what? Another random one.
Yeah, just like family, like friends and stuff.
Family and friends, yeah. All right, let's see. Was that a? Did you see that second down play? Was that a low throw or a bad drop?
It was pretty low, but it was catchable.
Low. Who was the receiver? Do you know?
31, I think.
31. You know who's the player I do not like at all this preseason is McCutcheon. McCutcheon, 85, just not impressive. Yeah. He's a loser of this preseason. Zach Kuntz, man, nice catch right there, like 47.
Oh. Is that?
Let's go.
Berkshire? No.
No,
that's the other guy, Sepsic.
Yeah, Zach Kuntz is a. Who are your 3 biggest losers of the preseason so far, Nanya?
Zach Kuntz. Obviously, you put Kuntz there. We got to put him there.
All right.
I mean, I guess I could say Eric Watts, just because it felt like he had a shot to do something here, and he didn't really take advantage of it. I'm feeling like I want to say Brownlee, just because like I feel like the door is wide open if he could really just consistently stand out, and he's made a couple catches today, but I don't know. He's still on that fence. He might make it. He might not. But if he doesn't, like I feel like it was an opportunity that he missed because there's just not a lot of competition for it. I mean, you mentioned McCutcheon. Brandon Smith hasn't done anything in this game yet. It's like it's kind of him versus himself. So if he doesn't make it, it's just a lack of showing up consistently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'm with you there. I'm trying to think of anybody else who like really kind of hurt themselves this preseason. I don't. Oh damn! Bad throw. Peasley. Who said that before? Who said that they like Peasley's arm better than the other guy? His throwing motion, maybe it's a little bit more clean, but he's just not as accurate. I'm not a Peasley guy. Okay. Yeah, Salah seemed afraid to make the tough decisions. Example being Zach for 3 years. The thing with Zach last year was the fact that, and we talked about it really early on this podcast, and I'm sure you did as well, Nanya, but the decision to both redshirt Zach for a year, then also have him as the primary backup was laughable.
Oh,
Valaday. Let's go, nice. Valaday.
Nice check down by Pete. Oh, take that coach out.
Yeah. I didn't see that part. I want to see it again now. Some reverse Mike Tomlin action there or no? Oh, credit to the coach for getting up, dude. He
popped up.
You had to know that was coming because if he didn't flex there, his win is gone. Which is the worst. I don't know if you've ever like truly had the wind knocked out of you, Nanya.
Not close to that degree.
Dude,
no.
It is the worst. The worst. I think I told you this story. Everybody tells good stories of their football times, but I'll tell you a really bad one.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to imagine like the situation, but basically, like my running, so we had like a wing back system, so we had 2 running backs, and I was the one blocking in this instance. I was a running back and a receiver, and one running back was running up the sideline on the right sideline, and I was leaning up the left or just to the left of him, and there was like a tiny like 5'7" safety who was yoked, and I didn't see him coming from like I was running up the sideline, and he was coming from my other side, and he hit me. He loaded up and hit me. I did a backflip in midair, backflip, not me kidding, and landed on my chest, and I could not breathe for a solid 45 seconds. Just getting up. It was awful, absolutely awful. But yeah, blindsided by a stocky little fullback. He was a fullback for the team and lit me up, dude. My senior year, I was like 6 foot, but I didn't gain. I had no girth. I was probably like 5'11", 6 foot, like 135, 140 pounds, which is light. Got waxed that time. Chicken Jenkins says, Joe, you forgot to mention with your evaluation about Saleh, the use of the word strain and how much that means to us, a Jets fan, especially Kyle. I would say the strain word is more used with Ulbrich more so than Saleh. But yes, the whole strain thing is very annoying. We like guys who strain, which is like I think that the Jets do like have that mindset, and they do like guys who strain. The word is overused, but in terms of like the Jets roster, like looking at it, like in terms of like the strain stuff, it's a team that you really got to root for, right? On defense, or just in general, like the amount of good guys they have on the team, Wilson and Brees and JJ and Sauce and Quincy and Q, like it's a very likable team as well. And I think the Jets did emphasize that in the last few years, like drafting guys who are guys who obviously work hard, but also like good people. So that's another thing to think about with this team. It's a very okay. He grabbed it. Yeah. But it's a team that's very easy to root for, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like ever since Douglas's first draft, or one of those first two drafts when he drafted all the captains, you could see that was a priority, and they've stayed consistent with it. And, like you could debate like how much does that really affect winning, because a lot of teams win with maybe not the best people on their team. So like you do want to win football games, but I think it can be a part of it, especially because like when you recruit a guy like Aaron Rodgers, would he come to your team if you didn't have that reputation of having a good culture, which I think they had established already by the time they added him. So I think in instances like that is where it really matters from a, team building and winning perspective. And then just like, as you go for a, Super Bowl run this year, you're going to lose games. You're going to lose 2 games in a row at some point. And, there are going to be negative storylines and the pressure is going to be on. So like, how do you fight through those moments? And I think when you have a good locker room, it helps you survive that adversity better versus, if you don't, then I think things have a greater chance of spiraling in those moments. So it does matter, even though to this point it hasn't translated yet, but I think it can in the long run.
Mm-hmm. We had a comment up where was it? I'm trying to find it. Take this one first, Nani, because I want to see where you go with this one. I'm convinced the JFM trade was because the only way Woody was going to okay the Reddick trade was to cut money somewhere else. There is no way JD trades away solid players for nothing.
Well, I was surprised by the return on that trade, and I still am not a huge fan of that return. It was a 6th-round pick, right? So, yeah, honestly, I still don't love that trade, but obviously financially that was part of it. But I mean, I don't know if it was a Woody forced thing or anything like that, Do
you know the numbers off the top of your head, how much they actually saved getting rid of JFM?
I can look it up right now. I don't remember.
Yeah, because my
he
thing
was
is
going to
like
have a $16 million cap hit this year. They saved $7 million, $9 million dead.
But he said that the Jets didn't offer him a contract near what the Broncos did, and he's only making $7.5 million with the Broncos this year. So I don't know what the hell happened. Now obviously the Jets need to create some cap room, because right now, assuming when Reddick's on the books, they only have like $6-7 million. You have a couple of million for in-season costs, and like a lot of people talking about Devontae, later on in the season. How the hell are they going to afford that? If they do give a raise to Reddick, and they're going to try to afford Devontae while also, re-signing Michael Carter, Tyler Conklin, Quincy Williams in a year or two, Sauce, Brees, JJ, like all of these guys. So I don't think it's a thing where it's because of Woody. He doesn't have deep enough pockets for it. It's more of a salary cap thing. But the Woody stuff, like when has Woody not been willing to sign a big contract? Like, he always has. I don't think it's a Woody money issue. The Jets don't have a lot of money on their books, but yeah, I don't think they handled the JFM Huff situation great. In an ideal world, the Jets signed Huff 2 years ago and don't wait for him to get to free agency, and then JFM's still on the team, right? Like I'd probably prefer that route overall. Obviously, all of this shit, if we had hindsight, this was going to happen, we prefer that. But even in general, like before this all happened, sign Huff in 2023, not try to sign him in 2024 offseason, and then you keep him and Huff. Or him and JFM. So And that's another one of my problems. Like I like Joe Douglas for a lot of things. He's obviously drafted a lot of good players and stuff. But one of my biggest issues with Joe Douglas is the fact that he doesn't sign guys early. Michael Carter II. Why wait till now? Why wait till the offseason? Why is he not signed yet? So I think he waits too long to sign guys. Like he doesn't kind of use like his forecasting type of deal to sign guys. It's one of my issues. Like, are we going to wait for Michael Carter to enter free agency and then have to outbid another team? Like, why not sign him now? I don't understand that. But
yeah, the only instance I could think of it was JFM when they signed him like 3 weeks into 2021. Other than that, yeah, he has not really gotten ahead of the game on re-signing people who are due for extensions coming up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did they trade JFM with the idea that Clemens would fill the role? I would say that they traded JFM and were hopeful that Clemens would fill the role, but it wasn't the reasoning behind the trade, right? Like it wasn't a thing where, hey, JFM or Michael Clemens has proven so much that we can get rid of him because Clemens is going to do it. It's more of a hope than a assumption, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. You remember that Thursday night Colts game, Saleh's first year that this defense has made an enormous leap in a short amount of time. You got blown out, right? It was like 42-10 or whatever that was.
Yeah, that was rough.
Let's see. Tony Lee says, "Do you remember how you felt about Garrett and Brees their draft year?" I'm going to answer this question.
How much did you even really look into Brees prior to
Zero.
that draft? Because I feel like
Zero.
No one was talking about that.
Zero. I knew about him because of like mock drafts and stuff like that, but in terms of watching the film, I didn't. And then Garrett, he was my second receiver, I believe. I had Drake London one. Drake London is a guy who obviously just kind of like Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson's a better receiver than Drake London. Garrett Wilson always had the higher ceiling, and I always said that. Garrett Wilson's biggest problem for me in college was his ability to get off the press. But he always had the higher ceiling, and he's obviously reached that. But Garrett, I was relatively high on. Like I was excited with that 10th overall pick. Nana, you're gonna answer this, and I have to break the seal. I cannot wait anymore. So I'm gonna be back in 2 seconds.
London was my favorite receiver in that draft. I think I had Garrett second, but I was a huge London fan, and he's been pretty solid. I mean, I'm curious to see what he does with Kirk this year. They have been a very run-heavy team. Obviously, I don't want him to outperform Garrett, and Garrett is better. But yeah, London was my favorite. Not gonna backtrack that. But yeah, Brees, same thing as Joe. Like I was aware of him, but it was not something that was really on my radar as a possibility for the Jets. So didn't really look into him too much. But I knew he was like a special running back prospect. Like everything about him that was like analytics based or on his athleticism from that year was like top of the line. So I'm actually kind of surprised he was a second round pick and not in that top 10 range like a Bijan last year, because it really seemed like he should have been in that class. But yeah, did not know too much. And when they made the pick, I was kind of surprised. And frankly, like I wasn't the hugest fan of it at first because I didn't love the value of a running back early round 2 when it felt like they had other needs to fill.
Can I defend you in the fact that we had so many bad players for so many years that Michael Carter was good enough at running back. We have like UDFAs at other positions, so we kind of need to fill those. So we saw the okayness of Michael Carter, and we're fine with that. But like, after watching Brees, again, because I'll be transparent, like I didn't really watch him. I don't like to speak on players unless I actually watch their film. After watching the film, I was like, oh shit, okay, this guy is pretty damn good. I got more excited after the fact, but during the draft, I'm like, what, like a running back? Like this is kind of confusing. But after watching him, I was plenty high on Brees, so. Chris Collins says awesome coverage. We appreciate that, Chris. John Hassel says, hey Corey Davis, if you're watching, we want you back, dude. F Lazard,
Brownlee, with the Bills.
He did visit the Bills, which. Yeah. Oh wow!
Oh,
somebody got blown up there. Is that who is that? Is that is 68 like Willie Taylor the third, whatever his name is? Because he's been the worst offensive lineman I've seen on this team so far. I think it's 68.
68 is.
Is it Willie Taylor?
Obina Eze.
Oh, okay. Willie Taylor is another one. Every time I see him on film, I'm like, oh my god, this guy's is
Willie Tyler, 64.
Willie Tyler, okay. Like I don't love to say that stuff. I don't think Willie Tyler's family is watching this stream because I always feel bad like if that happens. But eek. All right. Yeah, like the thing with Corey Davis is, didn't he say he wanted to be closer to his home? I'm not gonna lie, like if Corey Davis kind of left the Jets last second, said he wanted to be closer to home, and then joins the Bills, I'm gonna root for Corey Davis to get lit the hell up across the middle by Chuck Clark or Quincy Williams. Like and maybe I'm a terrible person for that. I don't know. But if he goes to another team that's not closer to Tennessee, I'm not gonna say I'm rooting for a broken rib, but I wouldn't be mad if it happened. I would be pretty pissed. Like, and again, maybe that's just me being too honest right now, but I would be mad if he joined the Bills, right? Like, you want to be closer to home, you retire from the Jets, and then join their divisional rival. Kind of shitty to me.
Yeah, but he worked out with them, and there was no signing, so maybe he's just washed up. I don't know, like how that played out.
Like, you get washed up after a year though. Like, did he not work out? Like, he's still 29 years old, 28 years old, 29, 30 maybe. How's Corey Davis?
He's probably 29.
Yeah, 29. Yeah, that's probably my guess.
Yeah, he's 29.
29? I don't know. Like right now, gun in my head, Corey Davis or Irv Charles is the sixth. I'm taking Corey Davis. Oh, whoever that was, the gunner. Really bad angle. Starters don't play in the final preseason game anymore. That's why. So it really doesn't matter when you draft anymore. Okay, I'm not sure. Oh yeah. I guess you're kind of right, but still. Justin McCarron's memory was that guy. Justin McCarron's. What happened to Martinez and Smith connection? I don't know. I haven't seen Smith at all.
I don't know if maybe they didn't play together because Martinez started.
Yeah, you're right.
No, I think I saw him in the game earlier. Yeah.
I'll take the L on Peasley. He misses a lot of. I blame the limited sample size, but the sample size of the first 2 weeks, Peasley was missing plenty of passes. Daniel Murphy's drunk. It's okay. You're watching the games. You also have a LIT, but you poured a little more vodka than I did. It's okay. Freedom House 1984 says, I'm a Green Bay and New York Jets fan. I was glad he left Green Bay and sad he came to New York. He always has heartbreaking drops. Oh, you're talking about Lazard. Yeah, and I'm not. And again, maybe I'm just an asshole. I've said that quite a few times, but the interviews he gives, I think Lazard thinks he's a lot better than he is. It's just the way he speaks. Even I was playing special teams. It's like, even you, who are you though? I don't understand. You're a healthy scratch for multiple games. You should be playing special teams, right? That's my one problem with Lazard. Lazard thinks he's very legit, and he's not very legit. I don't know. Jermaine Johnson. Let's see. MC2 hit his ceiling. They want him to train his replacement. No reason to re-sign him. Stiggers can take his spot. Should I do this one? Michael Carter II hit his ceiling. It's a top 3 to 5 slot corner in the league. Why do we want to get rid of him for a guy who has never played slot corner, whose game in the CFL was completely different than slot corners?
He even played football in America.
And we're trying to replace a top 3 slot corner in the NFL. Why are we making that leap? Why does that need to be done? Michael Carter II's costs $10.2 million a year, and Stiggers didn't play close to his position in the CFL and is a 5th round rookie. Michael Carter II's a top 3 guy. Why do we want to get rid of him? What are we doing here? I could see if this conversation was about DJ Reed, like, okay, at least they play somewhat similar like positions, but like, hold on.
What the hell is even that?
You're crazy, man. You're crazy. I like you, but you're crazy.
One more, Nadia. Come on, Kareem. You're better than that. You are better than that. Press and deep balls were Garrett's weakness. Yeah, he's improved on press. I would say deep ball. The deep ball ability is still Garrett Wilson's weakness. He had quite a few drops last year in contested catch, like deep situations. So let's see. Hold on. Fake toss, roll out, naked. We'll check down to 0. Braylon Allen.
Oh,
yeah, little hurdle there. Daniel Murphy says JD didn't give up Moses for Dwayne Brown. He did it because he had Mekhi Becton and George Fant, who was coming off a really good season. Didn't give up. Are you making leaps here, Daniel Murphy? You're talking to somebody else? I'm not sure. JD didn't give up Moses for Dwayne Brown. He did because he had Becton and George Fant.
I don't know. I'm lost.
Moses for Dwayne Brown. Okay, well, he let Morgan Moses walk that season way before he signed Dwayne Brown, though. Dwayne Brown was supposed to be the backup to Becton that year, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Because Dwayne Brown was supposed to be the backup for Becton while George Fant was at right tackle, or vice versa, right?
Yes.
And then Becton got injured, and then Dwayne Brown signed?
Yeah, that's how it
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's I'm trying to make the mental leaps to even get where you are here. Or you might be having a conversation with a different person. I'm not sure. I've had too much vodka for that. Okay, seeing Brees explode the way he has reminds me of dumb Twitter chatter of trading a pick to move up for him. Pierce looks like a bad fit in Houston, and no doubt Texans were ready to take Brees. I realistically like looking back on it, Monday morning quarterback in that draft, you really wish the Jets traded up enough to get Brees Hall's 5th-year option, right? Like that'd be huge. I'm not sure what they were offering to get back into the first round for Brees, but I'm really glad they got him. Another sack?
McKinley.
McKinley.
Yes. Why is he still playing? This might should we be slightly concerned about him still
I don't know.
playing?
Put Clemens back out. Clemens is dressed.
What does that
right?
mean?
Make Clemens go. Make Clemens go out there and
good bull rush. Something. I mean, Holmes had a good spin move to kind of set it up, but McKinley got pretty deep and he was able to peel off.
Yeah, that was more Holmes than McKinley, but nice adjustment by McKinley to get shallow there. Yeah, Garrett was never a good deep threat. He's still not. I would say that's the area he definitely struggles with the most, but. Everybody have weaknesses, right? Like it is what it is. Come on, Codrington.
Ooh.
Codrington this preseason has showed me more than Gibson ever did. Hot take? Not hot take.
In terms of like more than one return, yeah, I guess you could say that.
Yeah. We had to get Brees because our running backs at the time were mid. Yeah. Why did Corey Davis quit on a spot? Bing says. We still don't know. We still have no idea what happened. Like randomly in August, he's like, don't feel it. Deion Jackson is our 6th-string running back. We're real deep on the chart now. It's okay. It's okay. We're pushing through it. Nani and I are looking for a 3-0 preseason to start off a very strong regular season as well. We probably, honestly, if the Jets lost one of these, the first 2 games, we probably didn't do this. We probably didn't do the 3rd preseason game, but we're kind of obligated, right, at this point, because if we didn't do this stream, they would lose and the whole season would go into shambles, correct?
I mean, they won the first 2 games we did this, so got to keep it going.
Now watch, we're going to not do this, and they're gonna lose the first game. Everybody's gonna blame us, saying that you guys didn't stream. That's the problem. Let's see. Do we not have to let someone to let Morstead rest? He doesn't have to rest. He kicks like 4 balls in practice. Like he's okay. He can kick a ball. It's not. I wouldn't be so worried about it.
He's not a relief pitcher in baseball. He's just kicking.
Oh, this is a good Nania type of question because I don't really watch the Knicks as much. But he says Alan Lazard has this Josh Hart level of silliness, except Hart backs it up on the field.
Nah. Because Josh Hart is actually funny, like
likable.
What is
right?
it? Yeah, and likable. Like he's an energy that's like he's actually charismatic. I wouldn't say that about Lazard. Like what is a funny joke by Lazard?
I've seen some funny tweets and stuff from Josh Hart where Lazard has no funniness. He just refers to himself better than he actually is quite often.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that comp.
very like McCall Harbin, like McCall Harbin was like, yeah, it's like, like me and guys like Andy Reid, Mahomes and Travis Kelce, like we really helped the Chiefs win the Super Bowl this year. It's like you're kind of putting yourself on the same plane as Andy Reid, Hall of Fame coach, Travis Kelce, Hall of Fame tight end, Hall of Fame quarterback, and Travis Kelce, and then McCall Harbin, like all the way down here. Just I don't know.
But he stuck it to the Jets. He went back and he led them to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he won the Super Bowl for them. Matt Kimmel says, Joe, I think you're 100% right about the Jets overpaying Kinlaw based on the market. But I really think, yeah, Matt, I'm kind of here. I do think based on everything I've seen of Kinlaw, like I would say my stock is up for him. Did they overpay him at the moment? 1,000%. I don't think you could argue.
Mosley interview, your most awkward Jet, right? You always pick him or weirdest?
Most weird. Yeah, he's weird. He's a weird guy to me. Like not a guy that, like I'm not saying like I wouldn't trust him with my child. Like I think I could do that. But in terms of like going to dinner or lunch with him, like I think we'd have a conversation for like 2 minutes and then kind of sit there and be like, the weather's been bad this week. Like I don't know. I just feel like Moses is not like a very like talkative guy. I don't know. But yeah, they were paid Kinlaw. If Kinlaw made $7.5 million and Jefferson made 3.5, I'll never understand it. Again, just like how Conklin made less than Uzomah, there's just certain things I don't understand about NFL contracts. But I'm with you, Matt. I think he was overpaid. But I also think he's been better than I initially expected based on everything I've heard. Maybe I'm buying into the hype a little bit, but I do think he'll have his best year. And maybe honestly part of that is the fact that the Jets and every defensive line that comes to them has their best year, right? Sheldon Rankins, obviously this last year with Jefferson, but it's definitely an overpay. Who would you put as a top 3 slot cornerbacks? Oh God. Kenny Moore is up there. Teron Johnson's up there.
Johnson, yeah.
Trent McDuffie, I think he plays slot. Right, he is up there right now.
Kenny Moore with the Colts is really
good. Kenny Moore with the Colts is he's getting a little bit older now, right? But he's always been really good. Michael Carter, those are probably the top like 4 or 5, I would say. But Trent McDuffie's been a stud. I think Trent McDuffie, because of his physicality, can even play outside if he had to. I really like Trent McDuffie that draft, and now he's one of the better corners in the NFL, which is a hit. But yeah, I would say those guys: Moore, McDuffie, Teron Johnson, Michael Carter. Was there another slot corner got paid this offseason, or It was Teron Johnson and who else? Was Kenny Moore? It was Kenny Moore and Teron Johnson, right? Who got paid this offseason? Maybe I'm mistaken.
I'll check it out.
Maybe it wasn't Kenny Moore, but I don't think it was Kenny Moore. There was another guy who was paid this offseason at slot corner. It was like 10.1 of both that guy and Teron Johnson. I forget who it was. Freedom House says Brees and Allen are going to be a great 1-2 punch. I would argue that.
Yeah, it was more.
Nice play by Tanzel Smart in there initially. It was Kenny Moore.
Yeah.
I would say don't underrate Davis as a 3, dude. Like I really like Davis as a 3. Tack McKinley rules. Holmes had a decent spin move. Codgerson is a solid returner. Is anyone else tired of Clemens' antics? I know Michael Nania is because Michael Nania put out one of the hotter articles against Clemens the other day. Like Nania pretty much just basically said Clemens is a terrible person. He should be off the team based on the article. The article was sizzling. So Nania is not a big fan. But yeah, I've been tired of him for a couple of years, or at least since last year. The FU to the Browns fans, everybody hates him. It seems like the Panthers hated him. Deion Dawkins hates him. Who Deion Dawkins is a fat D cup bitch as well. But nonetheless, I still hate him. But I think Clemens kind of brings it upon himself. I think Clemens talks way too much he's almost the Alan Lazard of defensive ends, but in kind of different ways. Like Alan Lazard thinks he's way better than he is. Clemens thinks he's like, I don't know, man. It's kind of hard to act tough in a league with a bunch of tough guys. Like it doesn't play well. Nobody's afraid of you in the NFL. Like they're all pretty tough, so he just talks way more than he should, right? Like I don't think I'm putting words in your mouth, Nania. I'm tired of Clemens' antics. I think you are as well, right?
Yeah, I mean that was the gist of my article. I mean, it's just kind of a lot of not that he's like a talker on social media or anything, but clearly on the field, like he's a major instigator, and the team also kind of exacerbates it by like kind of treating him as if he's one of the fan favorite players, which I guess at one point he kind of was, but like I don't know, there's a lot of too much noise compared to the production.
Good tackles.
Especially like now, like we're watching this game right now, and how many guys have 2 sacks right now in this game? And he had half a sack. And it's preseason, but does he even have a preseason sack in his career? Not that I can remember.
That's a hard one to pull.
So, it's the thing with like the demeanor and the fighting and all that. It's like, yeah, you like that type of guy on your team who the other team hates, but you don't like it when it's a 15-yard penalty, to wipe out a sack in the wild card game. So. Mm-hmm. And he's already done that a bunch in his first 2 years, and clearly he's going to continue doing it. So I just don't think he brings a lot to the team that's positive.
Yeah. Bada Bing says, do you think Xavier Worthy is going to be good for the Chiefs? I would lean more towards yes than maybe maybe more than I should, because I'm giving Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, benefit of the doubt. Xavier Worthy is very fast. Mahomes is a very big arm. So I think the connection works out there. But can I speak to Xavier Worthy's film, like what he did in college? I can't. But yeah, sure. Like he's fast as hell, and Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid are very good. So yeah, sure, he'll be fine. Also,
Clemens has 1 career preseason sack in 8 games, and that was back in his first game in week 1 of 2022. So there's the answer. Which Tack McKinley has already surpassed tonight.
By far, he's proven more. Even McGregor, dude. Like McGregor got 4 or 5 QB pressures last week, whatever it was. He was. I know he had at least 4. Yeah. I did a review on him, and a lot of those plays were good too. Like, and the first week, I would say that he wasn't impressive to me, McGregor, but he did push the pocket a little bit, or pinch the pocket, not push. I would say push is more D tackles and pinch is more D ends. But Harvey, what's up, Harvey? Good friend of the show. Says, hello, my friends, watching the game on NFL Plus on my phone. So you have what? The game on your phone and us on your laptop? Or, Harvey, the ultimate respect, are we on your TV while the game is on your phone? Because that's even more impressive. We're on the big screen while the game is on the small screen. Meatball Parm says, is Mosley a Hall of Famer? If so, does he go in as a Jet or a Raven? I would say no, he is not a Hall of Famer. But if he were to go in, he probably goes in as a Jet at this point over a Raven. But I don't think he's a Hall of Famer.
I think he still has a chance if he could add adding a Super Bowl would go a long way.
So he's a Hall of Famer then. We're guaranteed Super Bowl dub this year.
I think if he could. I mean, he's already shown good longevity to this point, so if he could keep stacking it, because he he basically had 2 years of nothing from 2019 to 20, so that hurt him. But he's done a good job since then of playing pretty much every game. So if he can keep that going a few more years, like he's got 5 All-Pros right now, all of them second team, 5 Pro Bowls. So that kind of feels like on the fence to me, and I think a Super Bowl would help a lot.
I'm gonna make you a villain here, Nania, because I just feel like, again, The Grey Goose and the whiskey is flowing. Who is the most overrated loved Jet they can think of?
Wow. Overrated loved Jet.
Yeah,
so
loved. I'm talking about loved. You cannot do not cut corners.
All right, I got
here.
one.
Loved.
I got one.
Oh, Leonard Taylor. Leonard Taylor pressure again.
Zach McKinley. Let's go.
Again. Hold on. Nani, player thing and the Ducks. I want the Ducks and the whoa,
okay.
or whatever that was. Okay.
Ooh. Oh, you can't do both at the same time? That's lame.
There we go. Michael Nania. All we did was we put a recording. I recorded his bedroom interactions. Just ooh. Let's see. 2nd and 19. Wrap them up. All right. Hold on, I'm trying to figure out where I was exactly. Oh damn, I'm behind a little. No, I'm very far behind. Where am I in the chat? Oh, Bills. What is wrong with telling the opponent the opponent's FU? One, if you're going to tell somebody to go F themselves, I feel like you have to kind of back it up and be a much better player than them. And if you're going to point to a bunch of opposing fans in the crowd and be telling them to go F themselves, again, either be good or one, it's low class in my opinion in general. You have a bunch of kids out there, so that's the first aspect. And if you're going to do that, be somebody who's good. You know how many Browns fans or whoever, it wasn't Browns fans. What was that? The Browns? Actually, it was the Browns game, right?
Yeah.
How many people in the Browns stadium had to Google who 72 was because they didn't know who he was? Really, probably all of them. So yeah, if it's Quinn Williams go and tell telling you to go F yourself, and yeah, maybe I should go F myself, but you're who is this 72 who's telling me to go fuck myself? Come on, man. All right, Nania, this is big here. We might be getting a tied game here in the fourth quarter.
Could get a close game. Although I don't want to see Peasley lead the comeback. I would rather see Martinez do it.
I think Swole's on something here. Says Nani about to be outside of Clemens' house with his shirt off, pacing, telling him to come outside. 1-on-1, Nani, you versus Clemens?
I think I'll pass.
I'll pass. Nani's already in warm waters here with the article last week because there's no way that somebody didn't read that and send it to his family. Dude, this guy is just eviscerating you.
I mean, Tack McKinley saw my positive article. So
he did? Maybe Tack McKinley
will put on a story, so
defend you.
He probably told Clemens, he's like, this guy writes some really nice stuff. You should check out his articles. And Clemens looks, he's like, I think I'm gonna have to have a talk with him.
Tony Lee says, with us being being deep at running back, could you see us running more two running back sets? You're way better with X's and O's than me. Two running back sets this year because we're better at running back. No, I wouldn't say necessarily that we're going to be seeing more two running back back sets. Everybody's calling it the pony package now, which whatever one person said, and everybody ran with it. Do I see it more so than in prior years? Probably not, realistically, because it's not like those guys are overly versatile. One of his first plays of the preseason, but we'll take it. Take it for sure. I would say no.
Touchdown.
I would say no. So him on the roster over McGregor right now, right? Because he made the most recent play.
Yeah,
okay.
That's a touchdown saver.
Yeah, that's a good play. Verge Tip says way done with Clemens. His only saving grace is that he bitched Dawkins 100%. Verge, be real here. I know this is a comment 8 minutes in the past, and maybe you're not here anymore. But in which way did he bitch Dawkins? How did he bitch him? He trucked him the one time, right? But Dawkins is undoubtedly a better player than Clemens is. Dawkins is a solid starting left tackle in the league, and Clemens is a questionable depth player. I don't know. Clemens is the new Nathan Shepard with the late hits and always staying on the 53 man. credit to Shepard for starting in New Orleans. Yeah, but Shepard's at least like a decent role player in the past, right? Like Shepard in the last year or two wasn't so bad for the Jets. F you to every fan. It's not I get it, Kareem Mitchell. Like, yeah, fuck everybody else. But as an NFL player, like typically if you're going to talk shit to other fans, you're at least good enough to back it up. Nobody knows who he is. Verge Tibbs says, yeah, Shepard sucked, but then was pretty decent his last year here. Didn't realize he was starting somewhere good for him. Yeah, his last year or two, like Shepard's actually okay.
Well, like on that topic of Clemens doing the middle fingers to the fans, like what if the Jets played the Cardinals last year and
Leaky
they were up 30 and
Leaky
Fotu was doing
exactly.
The Jets are up 30-0 and
seriously.
Leaky Fotu.
And I'm saying like Leaky Fotu is better than player than Clemens is, but it's like if you don't know this guy and he's flipping off, like, can you imagine being in the stands with your son and then there's this guy giving you the finger, like, fuck you. It's like, and like I think he was probably thinking he's a little bit like funny doing it, but like you have no backing, like nobody knows who you are. Like if Myles Garrett told me to go fuck myself, I'd be like, okay, like, yeah, maybe I will. Like, yeah, it's okay. It's Myles Garrett. Like, yeah, he's probably right here. But like who are you, Michael Clemens? I don't know. Like Clemens has haters, means he's doing something right. That's debatable. I know people with haters who are not doing anything right.
That's what Salah would say. If you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping.
I don't know, man. Some people just have haters because they also suck. Like I don't know. Trey Lance had 5 picks today. He's on
yeah, he did.
Cowboys now, right?
Yeah,
5 picks. It's just crazy that a top 10 pick in the NFL was a guy who threw like 180 passes in college. Like he didn't do anything in college. And I guess it's kind of the same thing. Like Mark Sanchez had 10 to 12 starts in his career before going to the Jets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eli, look at that. Nani, this is huge. Hold on.
Quarterback.
Nice.
I'm doing you guys on the TV game on the phone. It's impressive.
Well, hear this over your TV speakers.
Oh.
That's great. I still have to find out. You have to go to brand to do that. Is it brand and then something else, or what is it?
Yeah,
Banners,
brand, and then you scroll all the way down.
Scroll down. What is it? What is it called?
It's just Nania OU.
Oh, that's okay. I got. Here it is.
Yeah.
And then the very popular, which people have demanded or have requested, is the feeding the ducks. If I'm ever rich, Nadia, and there's an elevator in my business, feeding the ducks is my elevator music.
That's pretty high tier as far as elevator music goes.
Right?
I mean, this is a good beat.
Solid. It's definitely solid at the minimum. McKinley is on fire. Let's see, another tax sack from Josh. The overrated players. I completely forget who was who Nania said, but Verge Tibbs on the dot. This is who I was thinking of. David Harrison, DeBrickashaw Ferguson. DeBrickashaw Ferguson was a very good player for the Jets, very consistent. He was never the best tackle in the league. I don't think he was ever a top 3 tackle in the league. He might have not been a top 5 tackle in the league. He was a very solid player, but definitely overrated by Jets fans. And David Harris, dude, he couldn't cover anybody out of the backfield. And obviously there's less emphasis on that in 2009 than there is in 2024. But David Harris was an extremely limited player, like extremely limited. So these are the exact names I think about in terms of overrated Jets is David Harrison, DeBrickashaw Ferguson. Sorry. It's on who? Spinaroonie. DeVito still playing in this game is humbling for him. Tommy DeVito. Yeah, Donnie, who did you answer before with the most overrated Jet?
Oh, I didn't get to it. We got sidetracked.
Okay.
But here I have one that probably this might be the most
these are my 2
unpopular choice you could make for this.
Okay.
But I've always look, I was not watching the Jets while he was playing. I've only watched highlights. And I'm not saying he's not a great player. Actually not. But Curtis Martin only averaged about 4 yards a carry in his career. I don't know. Was he that much of a difference maker, or did he just get a million carries at a time when you just stuffed your running back with rushing attempts? I don't know.
Curtis Martin being overrated.
You said something that's really unpopular.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I think maybe to Jets fans, I would agree with you. I would say maybe to the general Jets fan, both Curtis Martin and even Joe Namath are probably a little bit overrated. I didn't watch any of those guys like legitimately, so I can't speak on it. I would say guys who I've watched before, I think Verge Hibb nails it. David Harrison, DeBrickashaw, Ferguson are guys who are overrated by Jets fans for what they did or didn't do. And there's some underrated guys too. Like let's be real here. Like Jeremy Curley, I think is an underrated Jet for what he did with terrible quarterback situations. So I'm not trying to be overly negative, but David Harris was super, super, super one-dimensional. And DeBrickashaw Ferguson, I don't think was ever a top 3 guy at his position. I think he was just very solid for the Jets, So let's see.
Well, I would just say this: like Breece Hall in his career so far, and we know the blocking that he's had, is averaging 4.8 yards per carry. Curtis Martin never had a season with 4.8 yards per carry. So I don't know. I just always thought that was interesting that, he has, he's known as a superstar and he is. Like, I'm not denying that, but it's like, he wasn't that efficient. So sometimes I wonder like the perception versus reality with some players.
Nani, don't hate me here, but I broke the seal, so I have to continue to break it. But I'm going to throw this chat up on the screen. Thomas Jones was the most underrated Jet.
Oh, he just popped out. I was watching the game. I don't know if I can comment on that. I don't think I was watching it when Thomas Jones was on the Jets. He was there through 2009, so I started watching in 2011. I can't say anything about Thomas Jones. I don't have anything to add to that conversation. Although I did just comment on Curtis Martin, who I also didn't watch. So I guess I'm being a hypocrite right now. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have too much to say about that.
All right, that is a topic that was not worth washing your hands for, because I was going to the bathroom and I'm hearing you be like, oh yeah, I don't really have a comment on. I'm like, shit, I gotta run back.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. Most underrated.
Most underrated for, where was that question? Oh, most underrated Jets. Yeah. Again, I think Curley was relatively underrated Curley was underrated for Jets fans because he was in really bad situations. Bilal Powell, underrated Jet. Chris Ivory, underrated Jet. Trying to think who else comes to the top of my mind in the last couple of years. Curley, Ivory, Bilal Powell are probably my top 3. Right off the dome, right off the noggin. There's probably some more that I can't think of.
I have a good one. What about, and not that he was underappreciated when he was on the Jets, because I think fans loved him, but I think Snacks Harrison is a pretty underappreciated Jet, just because like when he was there, like their run defense was by far the best thing they did. Like it was probably the best in the league those 3 years, and that was mainly him. I mean, they had a lot of good defenders on their D-line over that time period. But, I mean, I just pulled up the numbers right now. 2013, they allowed 3.4 yards per carry. This is the best in the league that year. Even 2014, when they were bad, 3.8. 2015, 3.6.
McGregor, nice play. Sorry.
So, yeah, I don't know. He was always, like, super consistent and dominant at what he did.
Dude, even Steve McClendon was a really good underrated Jet for those couple of years. Yeah. Mike Pennell. We had a lot of good D tackles over the last couple of years. Crowder, most underrated. He was underrated as well. He was with really shitty quarterbacks. Crowder he's a good player.
Yeah.
Sanchez for most underrated. Hawk, man. Hawk, I love you. I love you, Hawk, but you with quarterbacks, man. Sanchez, Zach Wilson, I don't know what it is. I think if anything, Sanchez is overrated by Jets fans. He top 3 defense, top 3 offensive line, top 3 running game, stacked receivers. Like, yeah, he was good in the playoffs and everything, but Sanchez is not a good quarterback. Give Sanchez Darnold's situation, and he's worse than Darnold. Right? Like, am I crazy here, Nani? If you and obviously like you were young for those years, but if you could replace Darnold with Sanchez in 2010, do you think Darnold brings us to maybe the Super Bowl that year? Like, do you think and again, maybe I'm crazy. Again, maybe it's the Grey Goose, maybe it's the whiskey. I think that Darnold was a better quarterback than Sanchez was. Darnold was in a 10 times worse situation than Sanchez ever was. Sanchez was in an amazing situation.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to hypothetically see how that would play out, but just by that comparison of like what did he produce relative to his surroundings compared to Darnold, you got to give it to Darnold. I mean, their numbers are not that much different, and Sanchez had about, receiver wasn't amazing, but it was good, but offensive line maybe best in the league. Run game, great. Defense, maybe best in the league. It's like you can't really ask for too much more besides not having a superstar receiver versus Darnold. Worse, and not excusing Darnold. He wasn't good, but probably the worst supporting cast in the league over his time there. So it's like, doing that math, it's like, would Darnold probably have done more than Sanchez did in that situation? Probably. So, yeah, I mean, maybe he would.
Harold thinks it's the Grey Goose, but I don't know, man. And I obviously watched the Jets a lot closer with Darnold. Like, I was really into it. And Sanchez, I'm not gonna say I was a casual fan, but in terms of like what I am now, in terms of watching the film, like watch every preseason game, watch the draft, watch the games, but I didn't like study it. So maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know, man. You give Sanchez the worst receiving group in the NFL, one of the worst defenses, one of the worst offensive lines, one of the worst running games in the NFL, as compared to the best of all of that. Is he much better than Darnold was? I think he's worse. I really do. Darnold has some playmaking ability that Sanchez didn't have.
After his Jets career, Sanchez immediately flamed out. Like, he had the 1 year at the Eagles, restarted some games, but that was about it.
Yeah.
So once he left that situation, he was pretty much done.
Yeah, like Sanchez somehow found a way to play good when it mattered. Sam was the opposite. I get what you're saying, but Sanchez or Darnold didn't have the opportunity to play well, right? Like he had he had Andre Roberts, who was a return specialist, and all these scrubs playing for him. Like, he didn't have the opportunity to play good in big situations. So would have Sanchez done that if he had Andre Roberts as the number 1 receiver? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Don't underestimate how terrible Schottenheimer was terrible. He was definitely terrible. It was as bad as Adam Gase and the guy from King and Queens. Probably not. What's the guy from King and Queens? Was it Oscar? Not Oscar. Tell us his name. What's the friend from King of Queens? I know somebody in the chat who knows what I'm talking about. Oswald, whatever the hell his name is. He's a stand-up comedian. That's exactly what.
Patton Oswalt.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Patton Oswalt.
Oh, Dowell Loggins.
Yes, Dowell Loggins. That's where I was going. Thank you for making the connection. Without Keller, he would have been lost. Yeah, Keller, man. I always remember the first memory that comes to mind with Keller was taking that shot from Ray Lewis over the middle, 2011 opener.
Dowell Loggins hasn't even been in the NFL since he's been off the Jets. Yeah. Arkansas tight end coach. Schottenheimer wasn't great, but Arkansas tight end coach. That's who's calling plays. Well, not calling plays, but it was your OC.
Chicken Jenkins. Darnold would have given games away. Sanchez was a manager, but in those playoff games, he didn't necessarily give those playoff games away. The thing about was
playoffs, but he threw a ton of interceptions in the regular season.
In terms of giving games away, like Darnold also had to do more with less than Sanchez did. Like, yeah, Sanchez, when you have the number 1 rushing team and number 1 defense in the NFL, you don't have to give away games because they'll carry you. when you're playing with a shit team overall, you're going to take more risks. So like there's nuance to that conversation as well, though, right?
Yeah, and I like a lot of Darnold's interceptions were end of game, like heaving it up type interceptions. I don't want to turn this into like the Darnold defense podcast, but yeah, or like, yeah, it's an interesting comparison.
Dana, want to know something? Hit the like to see Joe Brent bench press a petite sumo wrestler. I appreciate you put petite and not just a sumo wrestler, but so I go to the gym after work is done. So I go to the gym at like 1:00 in the morning after I get out of work, and there's nobody there. And this is no shame because it doesn't matter because I'm not talking about weight here. I got pinned by the bar last week, Nadia. I thought I had 6 reps. I only had 5, and those videos where the bar is pinning you and you're trying to get off of it. That happened to me, but unfortunately there was nobody else in the gym. I figured out how to slip underneath said bar, but it was messy for a few minutes there. I was a little bit sketched out. That was pinned. But yeah, I got pinned the other day, Dano. So, but thank you. Jay, Lions game was excruciating. Yeah, the Lions game. Who was that? Like some random 4th string tight end who took it for like a 45-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there. I was there to watch it. It was awesome. I've been there for all of the home games of the last 10 years that have been absolute shit. I've been there for.
Which is every game except the Bills and Eagles games the last 2 years, I guess, and the Bears game.
Yeah, I've been to them all, man. I rarely miss home games. I've had season tickets since 2012. The Tebow year is my first year of season tickets. Terrible year to start. Absolutely dreadful. Sanchez made some clutch throws in that New England game. Yeah, but like, do we not remember Darnold's game against the Texans? Do we not remember Darnold's game against the Packers? Do we remember Darnold's game against the who's the other game that year? Nani, do you remember? It was the Texans, Packers, and there was another team he played.
The Colts game.
Colts game, Lions game,
Luck.
even the Lions game. Like he had
Broncos
like
game,
had
hit
good
those
games.
Deep passes. Like his highs were high.
Yeah. Again, give Darnold Sanchez's teams. I don't know. There's that much of a difference if Darnold's not better. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I am. But okay, Hawk. In the big moments, Sanchez played fearless and made big throws. Sam played scared, and I think their mentalities were different. If Sanchez had Darnold's team, maybe his stats would have been worse. You're kind of both disagreeing with me, but agreeing with me at the same time there. I don't know. There we go. Azuma, I love it. Darnold and Sanchez are trash. Just ends the conversation. They both suck.
That's it. That's all we need.
There we go.
That's all that needs to be said.
Right? Like, that's great. I love that. So we have 5.5 minutes left. The Jets are driving, trying to close this game down. We are going to hold on. You literally had Mike Westhoff say this about Sanchez. If Mark stood by my swimming pool, he couldn't throw the ball into a damn lake. Okay, so Nania, the chat carried us through this game. Like we didn't have any breaks in speaking here, which is amazing. But with that being said, we have 5 minutes left. I'm probably like what's the word I'm looking for? I'm probably like tapping into the CYJ podcast a little bit. You guys are probably gonna do a 53-man roster prediction. I don't know, but it's okay. I'm doing it first, so it's okay. We can do whatever we want here. 53-man roster prediction. We only have 4 minutes and 41 seconds left, and we have 35. Validate, drop a wide open pass. Hold on, one more question before we get into the 53-man roster prediction. Tony Lee says, if we could add any Jet in their prime to this team that would put them over the top, who would it be? Any Jet ever to put the team over the top. We need what? Safety, tight end, receiver, offensive lineman.
How about, is 2019 Jamal Adams a bad answer? I mean, like safety, we talked about it before, is the one position where they don't have top end talent.
Like, can I just say Darrelle Revis? Then you have Darrelle Revis and Sauce Gardner as your corners.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm just trying to think of positions where like they need it the most, but
like I love DJ Reed,
would be unbeatable.
Alan Faneca, like left guard.
Yeah, that's another good option.
Alan Faneca, Darrell Revis, Brandon Marshall as your number 2, or like obviously, throwbacks like the Al Tunes and stuff like that at receiver.
Put Gastineau on the edge. These uniforms.
Or Gastineau even at D tackle next to Q.
Yeah.
Man. Dude, top of mind, I'm gonna say Revis. I think Revis is the best Jet probably of all time in terms of like their peak. You put prime Darrell Revis next to Sauce, this defense.
I mean, he's the best player. Like peak Revis is probably their best player of all time in terms of like him versus his position. At
him and Sauce.
Best. So.
Ooh, Harold, Chris Jenkins with Q. Underrated answer. I like that. I like that answer.
Yeah.
A healthy Chris Jenkins.
What about Don Maynard? How does that work? Like, are we assuming he would be as dominant as he was?
It's kind of hard to like transfer like generations and stuff like that. But he realistically, I'm not trying to be funny here or whatever. Don Maynard playing in the NFL today would probably suck ass, right? Like if we're being realistic, right?
No, 100. I'm always like on that train of like even like the NBA arguments, like when
if Will Chamberlain played today, he would be off the bench probably.
Yeah, like I'm 100% with that. Say whatever you want.
Yeah, Hawk agrees with us. Yeah,
it's not even like a disrespect thing. It's just like it's
just realistic.
It's just a development of the way because like sports are a young thing in the grand scheme of like human history. So it's like people improve over the decades. So like it's like if
Babe Ruth played today, he would get he would suck.
Yeah, exactly.
We're speaking. The athletes today are better than they were in 1960.
Right.
As it is. Don Maynard is a problem. He had legit speed. I can't say that. I can't say that I've watched him, but Redwine, like Sheldrick Redwine.
What about Mangold? I mean, that's probably the best center in the league.
And then what moved Tibbin left guard?
Career. And then,
Mawai was better. No, Mawai was better than Mangold though. Mawai is a better player than Mangold.
I'm saying like during Mangold's prime, he was the best.
Yeah, I'm.
But you think Mawai was better?
Mawai is a better player than Mangold. I love Mangold, but Mawai was a better player in my opinion. So yeah, that's a really interesting conversation. Really, dude, like Revis is tempting, but like, how much better is like obviously he's a lot better than DJ Reed, but like Brandon Marshall's a good answer too. You get 1,500-yard receiver next to Garrett Wilson on this offense. Brandon Marshall, Don Maynard, Mawai move Tippmann to guard. It's a really interesting question. But if you had to say one, like gun your head right now, you had to make the decision. Who is it?
Revis. I know I'm stealing yours, but you said gun to my head, so
yeah,
I can't go wrong with that.
I'm probably gonna say Mawai, and then move Tippmann to left guard.
Is there like a good coverage safety? Like I know I said Adams.
Kerry
like,
Rhodes.
I'm thinking like
Kerry Rhodes.
Yeah, but like you would just because of the need, you wouldn't. I like obviously Rhodes was good, but like when you have Revis and like all these other guys available, like it's like a reach for need in the draft sort of thing.
A little bit. You're reaching for sure. Prime Vic. Yeah, we're talking about the time of the Jets. I said that before. Daniel Murphy. Alan Faneca left guard. Left guard. Rob Moore. Kerry Rhodes ball hawk. Okay, so I expected this to be like a halftime thing, Nanya. We're going to do almost an expedited 53-man roster prediction because we don't have time to do it before the next, obviously before the roster comes out. So, quarterback. Who are we looking at for Nanya on the quarterback 53-man roster prediction?
I got Peasley and Taylor. Rodgers on practice squad.
Yeah. So I have Rodgers and Tyrod do the same thing, right? Too.
Yeah.
With Travis being like redshirted, IR or whatever, and probably Martinez on this practice squad. Running back. Who do you have at running back?
Right now, and like call it an overreaction to the last two games if you want, but I have Brees, Braylon Allen, Isaiah Davis, and I have added Izzy to this. I've mostly been going 3 running backs until now, but I'm starting to feel it. So I'm going 4.
Mangold was better. I don't know, man. and this is more like me relying on some older fans, but everything I've seen Maui was better. But please a review. I wish I could Harold, but there's not enough film out there from Maui. Green garbage can. Okay, so yeah, I'm the same as you, Nani, with that. Running backs, I have 4. I have Hull, Allen, Davis, and Izzy, and I think Izzy specifically from this preseason earned himself a spot on the roster. Tight end, I'll just go with it. I took Ferkser off specifically because he's not really playing in the role I thought he would in the preseason. And I have just Conklin, Rucker, and Yaboa at tight end with 3.
Yeah, same.
Okay. Sack. Nope, never mind. Deep shot.
Oh.
Nope. Okay. So we're the same at tight end. Receiver. I have Wilson, Mike Williams, Corley, Gibson, Lazard, and Charles. And I'm not saying that Charles should make the team necessarily, but I think they will. This is more predictive than what I would do. But I have 6, Charles being the last, Brownlee's cut, and Davis are cut.
Yeah, I have the same. So, like, what would you do if you weren't putting Charles on there?
I would. Ooh, McGregor at the sack.
Yeah.
3rd and 10. Huge.
Yeah.
Dude, McGregor, man. Fuck. I think I got to put him on this team.
I've added McGregor to my roster.
quick pivot. Yeah, Charles 6. Offensive lineman. I have Simpson, Tippmann, ABT, Schweitzer, and Newman. Interior. And then the tackles, I have Smith, Moses, Fashanu, Mitchell, and Warren. Any differences there from you?
Nope, same.
Okay. Defensive tackle, I have Q, Kinlaw, Thomas, Fotu, and Leonard Taylor III.
Oh, we got to see this punt. Yeah, I'm the same there too. And Taylor, I've been on the fence, but I feel like this game kind of sealed it for him. So going the 5.
I made a last second pivot right here. Okay, defensive end. I want you to go first here because I just pivoted.
Okay, you just changed it.
I did, man. It's just really hard for me on this last one.
I got 5. Jermaine, Reddick, McDonald, Clemens, McKinley.
Yeah, I just pivoted. Reddick, JJ, McDonald, Clemens, McKinley, and McGregor. They carry 11 defensive linemen for one of the bigger surprises of the offseason. McGregor, there was a bidding war to get him this offseason, undoubtedly. So with there being a bidding war for him and then a preseason where he's been pretty good now for 2 games out of the 3, he gets claimed. So I think I don't think he's a guy. I don't think McGregor is a guy that you stash on a practice squad. Dude, is that Davis again? Or Smith? Dude, Smith again with another contested catch on the sideline.
I didn't see that one.
That was nice. Okay, so yeah, I have Reddick, JJ, McDonald, Clemens, McKinley, and McGregor. You see it? You saw it now on the replay?
Ooh.
Dude.
Yeah, he got that.
He would make it over Charles in my if I was choosing the rosters, but he's not going to. Oh, his foot was out of bounds, I think.
I thought he got it from the one angle. Oh, let's see it on this one.
One. Oh, that was in.
Yeah, that was
dude.
Good.
Brandon Smith is making so many legit plays contested. Damn, he should make it. But yeah, I have 11 defensive linemen. I just think McGregor gets claimed. While as I'm gonna transition to linebacker. Linebacker, I have Mosley, Quincy, Sherwood, and Barnes. My last second move, like the very last second. So I'll tell you 2 moves I made from this game, and not even just this game, just me thinking overall. I took Ferkser off, put Izzy on offense. I took Surratt off and put McGregor on. McGregor gets claimed. I don't think Surratt does. I think Surratt's a guy you can stash in your practice squad. And you have an injury to Mosley, Quincy, Sherwood, you can activate him. Whereas if McGregor gets cut, I think he's claimed. So I think you're a little bit safer in terms of like managing your practice squad with Surratt on it, where McGregor is not going to be on it. So I kept McGregor. You have 11 defensive linemen, and then you only have 4 linebackers with Mosley, Quincy, Sherwood, and Barnes.
Yeah, my only difference is that I didn't make that McGregor move. I have Surratt on here. But I totally get your logic, and I could see them doing that. It's just, I don't know. It seems like they do have a liking for Surratt, and that the special teams balance is kind of better by keeping a linebacker over a D end, and he has been a key special teams guy.
McGregor's played so much better. Like he's played really well these last 2 games, though, to keep him over stuff. Please cut Brownlee.
It's just a lot of defensive linemen, so I feel like it's they're going to have to make the tough cut. But I don't know. I am on the fence between Surratt versus McGregor. That's kind of the big one for me now. But then, do they go with 3 running backs? And maybe Izzy, the last 2 games aren't enough, and they do sneak McGregor in there.
And there are teams who carry. There are teams who only carry 5 receivers too. Like you don't have to carry 6. Like Charles is not a lock for this roster. Kev Chada puts in here, please cut Brownlee. Like, if they were to keep Brownlee over McGregor or Taylor, like, I'm gonna be pissed, dude. Like, Brownlee, I don't know. Again, he's in practice, all that stuff. I don't see it, but Brownlee over one of those guys, I'll be quite frustrated. Safety, we're gonna be the same. It's Clark, Adams, Davis, Oliver, right?
Yeah.
And then corner, you have 6 who are going to be Sauce, Reed, MC2, Eccles, Siggers, JBC.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So we're pretty much in lockstep with a lot of the roster. It's just you don't have McGregor making it. You have Surratt making it, and that's our only difference. Right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. It's just like one gets claimed, one doesn't. In my opinion, that's the biggest difference for me there. And that's why I changed it specifically. Yeah. But McGregor was in on 2 or 3 he had his sack of his own, right? And then Taylor had a sack that he was a part of, or at least like close to the situation. And then he just had a sack. So he had like 2.5 sacks this game after having a good week last week where he had 4 or 5 pressures on the quarterback. And the Jets spent a lot of money for him in terms of like UDFAs. Like they were in a bidding war for him. I just, all those pieces put together, if you're gonna bid high for him and then he's gonna play well in the preseason, why not keep him? Like, it doesn't make sense if you don't.
Yeah, I might take off Izzy to put him on instead of Surratt. I really think
Izzy,
that just for special teams, like I think that Surratt is a key guy for them. They seem to like him.
3 running backs and 3 tight ends is quite light though. Like you've emphasized that in the past as well.
Yeah, so it's tough. Like there are some tough decisions on here. So
for sure.
Yeah, I think I'll stick with what I have, but yeah, I feel like yours is pretty good chance of happening as well.
Murphy, Daniel Murphy says, would you keep Smith over Brownlee? Me personally, yes. I personally would. Will the Jets? Probably not. If one of them to make the team, it's Brownlee. But I would keep Smith over Brownlee. What say you?
I think I would, just because look, they're both undrafted, so it comes down to like what have we seen, and like obviously you trust their judgment of what they see in practice, but for us it's easiest to judge the games, and he's been more consistent with the opportunities he's gotten. And really, like, I think another big part of this is that he's showing what Brownlee's appeal is supposed to be, which is those contested catches. Whereas Brownlee he's gotten a lot of contested targets that he didn't come down with. And obviously you don't expect him to catch every single one, but it's been a lot of opportunities and he's gotten maybe like a quarter of them versus Smith pretty much every time came through. Maybe there's 1 or 2 he didn't get, but it felt like nearly every time he came through. So just based on that, it's easier to picture Smith being productive based on what we've seen. So yeah, I would lean towards him.
Yeah, I like that answer. Azuma says, what if Wilson gets hurt? You want to cut one of our weakest positions? So the thing is here, it's like I don't think you're cutting a superstar in Brownlee. I think if Wilson gets hurt and you want to sign a receiver, does Brownlee make a big difference over whoever you can sign in free agency at that point? No. Like I don't think Brownlee is a difference maker than anybody else who's out there. So I'm not going to say like, hey, it really hurts your depth to lose Brownlee. I'm not there. Maybe I'm wrong, but I haven't seen enough where I'm like, hey, you need to keep him just in case Wilson gets hurt, right? Like I don't know. Are you there, Nania? Where it's like, hey, you're weakening our depth here. Is there any difference between Brownlee and some guy you can sign off the street in week 7? Oh, another miss.
Oh,
Zerline. All right, we haven't got the kicker yet, so here we are. We got through corners now. Special teams, I have the other guy. I have Serbert or Serbert, whatever his name is. I have the two Toms, and Austin Seibert. What about you?
Yeah, that's what I got. I was just in the middle of changing it right here, but yeah, you got to show up. Like if you miss 2 kicks in a preseason game, how can we trust him in Monday Night Football season opener in San Francisco? It gets pretty windy over there. I don't trust their line anymore.
All right. Well, they're either gonna win the game or not here, because if they made that field goal, it was gonna be 13-13 maybe. But now it's a 10-6 situation.
16-6. It would be over. So, not close.
Harold says Brownlee looks like a practice star. Not sure he's ever becomes anything. Yeah, like plenty of receivers we had in the past. Did you guys have 4 running backs making it? We both did, with Izzy being that last guy. Again, I think maybe people are giving up a little bit too early on him, and he's been pretty good in the preseason. Punt returner Covington, can we stash? Yeah, I think so. I think he's a stash. NFL Network keeps flipping back and forth between Jets and Browns games. And
that's what mine's doing. That's what I'm watching it on.
Oh, really? I'm on CBS and so straight Jets.
But right now it's full screen on Jets.
Brandon Codrington with a holding penalty on that. Surratt can be stashed. Hold on, Nania, answer one more question. I gotta break the seal for the 3rd time, and then we'll be out of here. So answer any chats if you want. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm sorry.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, going back to my roster, it's very difficult to make that decision between Surratt and McGregor for me, because 11 defensive linemen just seems like a lot. But like, all of Joe's logic is great. Like the fact that he'd be, oh no, Tommy Cutlett's running wild. Like, he would be coveted based on the pursuit that they made for him as UDFA, which is always something you have to consider, because not all UDFAs are equal in terms of their demand, whether you go off the guarantee that they signed for or the interest that was in them on the open market. So it seems like he was coveted. Last 2 games, very consistent as a pass rusher. So I could easily see him making it, but I think McKinley has made himself a lock. Taylor, I think, at D tackle, I would love to keep him, because they just don't really have a lot of youth at the back end of that depth chart. So I'd like to have his upside. And I just think he's a great scheme fit. And he's also played his way onto the team with his preseason performance throughout all 3 games, really. So 11 is just a lot, but I could easily see them doing it. It's just they would have to be pretty light at multiple other spots. So curious to see how that plays itself out. So you got 27 seconds, 4th and 2 here, on the verge of a 3-0 preseason, which is a guarantee that you're going to translate that to the regular season. Let's go! Tanzel Smart. That's short. Get off the field. Sit down, kid.
I was talking for 2 minutes and or a minute there, and I was muted, but I was doing spirit fingers. I was doing the spirit fingers for the fourth down. I was concerned that you weren't doing them with me, but here we are.
Oh no, I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, I was doing spirit fingers. That's why I was going like this. I was saying spirit fingers, and you just didn't answer me. Izzy is a better gamble than Surratt. Yeah, that's one of my very bottom of the roster moves I made and on this specific depth chart. I had Surratt making it 4 hours ago, and now I'm putting Izzy over Surratt. That's one of the bigger decisions. So just are going to kneel it. We're going to run through the rest of the chats real quick. Taylor almost had 4 sacks today. He was in on 3 of them, right? And he had a tackle for loss or 2. So yeah, he's been. Brandon is 6 for 6. Wow. Legatron missed again. No, Gonzalez. Why are you tripping me up? It's Martinez. It's not Gonzalez. Just another Spanish type of name, Kev. That's racist as hell. It's Martinez, and no, he's not going to be on the 53. He's on the practice squad. Let's see. I'm kidding, Kev. Obviously a little bit. Lazard has played good. Maybe in practice a little bit, but I don't know. Eric Decker appearance. Okay, so we're through the. There's another question I was actually going to ask you. Past the 53. Oh yeah. Now, before we go, because it's 6 seconds away from a preseason undefeated preseason, so we are just dominating the preseason together. But give me your 3 studs and again, we are going to watch the film again. Both Nani and I will wake up at 7:30 in the morning and start watching film like we do because we're psychopaths. But with that being said, first watch, who are your 3 studs and 3 duds from this game?
3 studs, got to go Taylor, McGregor, and offensively Izzy, of course. So I'd say those are the 3 studs.
McKinley's a throw-in, 4th, right? Honorable mention.
Oh yeah, for sure. I would just put the other ones over him because I feel like they gain more. Like McKinley's kind of keeping it going. Although McGregor and Taylor have as well, but you know what I mean. Duds. Mm-hmm. Can we say Clemens just because it's like all these guys are out here popping off
doing something?
Like, Clemens just the only thing he got noticed for this preseason was whiffing on zone reads and tackles in the backfield. So not that he's going to miss the roster, but I mean Peasley's not very impressive. I think Martinez kind of easily has that in the bag if there's any sort of battle between them for a practice squad spot. Receiver.
Zerline was a dud today.
Oh,
Zerline, it's a good point by M2 289 there.
Not too concerned because it's one game.
Now you know what we're gonna do. Hold on. Let me see. How do I don't know how to. Oh shit! Hold on. Let me click on this. I'm not going to do it. I get the memberships before now. I can't seem to figure out how to do it on the live chat here. Actually, show chat. Hold on. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna get more memberships if I can figure it out in the moment here. We are 3-0 in the preseason. Membership gifting. We have. I'd gift the membership. Daniel Murphy's gifted membership, but today for Good Spirits, we're going to gift another one. Let's see here. Boom. Why not? Why not gift more memberships? Gifted 5 more. We have a total of 11 members. Azuma 76 member, Hype member, Almost Weekly member, Stephen Craig and Sean Freese, all members gifted by me. Appreciate you guys even being in the chat for this long. Again, keep gifting the memberships. I gifted 10 of them, and we have another one from Daniel Murphy. Hopefully, you continue to get memberships. Again, you have a little you have the green in your name. You have a like badges. I think they're player like badges right now for a month, 3 months, 5 months, whatever it is. We're going to add like not stickers. We're going to add super or what are they called? Emojis as well to the realm as well. So a bunch of things coming with the gifted memberships. I appreciate everybody in here. McGregor's comp is, I don't know. It's really hard to do off the top of the head. McGregor has to make the team along with Taylor. I'm with you. Tell me Greg the Leg is good. Greg the Leg is good. Zach, final words for the chat, Nania. Successful preseason. 3-0 for me and you. Hopefully this carries over into the football season. By the way, every single game that we've watched so far, I have wore the opposite jersey of the Jets. Will not match their colors. I think this year I have to carry it into the season. No, am I correct? I know this is a CYJ staple, but taking over a little bit, talking about uniforms at the end of this, at the end of the podcast here or the stream. I think I'm locked into wearing different jersey of the Jets every game this year. No,
I don't remember what I did the first 2 games. I'm matching today.
You wore green first, green third, green first, green third. Time? What'd you do last week? Last week you wore Garrett Wilson, right?
So maybe I did that every time. So
green
is the way for me to go. Just forget
you wear green
about
every game.
Maybe I got to forget about my white and black. You got to pull up the brakes.
Pump the brakes. Did you wear green every time this year? And we're 3-0. Hold on. I gotta figure this out. This is hard hitting before we leave here. I am not letting you leave.
Oh, Jets, I did Commanders. White for Commanders. What did I do for the Panthers?
Panthers, you did green because you wore your Garrett Wilson last week. So we both wore Garrett Wilson.
Oh yeah,
white.
So I matched. Green. I matched every game. So
okay, so you got to match. You got to match. I got to go.
Go opposites. I got to go match it.
Okay. Kev Chada says, what happens to Hassan? I'd trade. I'm not trading our best defensive end in a Super Bowl or bust year. That's as simple as that. Is he kept at fourth back? In my roster prediction, I believe he is. Kickers matter when they missed. Hey Joe to Rollo, Greg, Nania. Last word for the chat before we bounce out of here for the last time this preseason.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I have not had any experiences prior to this of doing live game reactions. This is the first time doing it. It's been a lot of fun. I think preseason is always fun. I'm not going to be someone who complains like, get this over with, like wait for football for 7 months and then you get it back and just start complaining. I'm not that guy, but at the same time, it does make it a lot more fun when you get deep into the game, you kind of start dozing off a little bit. It does make it more fun to be hanging around here with you and with the very loyal listeners who are hanging with us at 10:41 p.m. here on the East Coast. So
83 watching right now as we're closing out, which is impressive. I'll take it.
So it's been pretty awesome. Hopefully we can carry this momentum into the regular season.
So everybody who's still in here, I will see you next week. I'm not sure what the live stream is going to be. Sabo's going to join us next week, or at least he should. So we're going to have Sabo on next week. We'll talk about probably 53-man roster predictions and some other things, previewing the first game. And then Nani will be back on. Nani, you're going to be back on after the first game of the season, which is wild. So again, we appreciate everybody in here. Again, subscribe to us for the website. Obviously, Nani, a top 2 traffic Jets website in the entire world right now. And we have subscriptions, which is quite impressive. So number 1 or 2 in the world right now for JetX. So shout out to us. Shout out to Nania, who is creeping towards like 40,000 Twitter followers, which is a bunch of bullshit. Cause I'm still fighting for 10,000. Which, by the way, we have like I think we have like maybe 300 more until 10K on YouTube. So subscribe to us on YouTube. I am 400 away ish on Twitter to getting to 10K. So please subscribe to me on Twitter as well. JoRB31 on Twitter. Follow Michael Nani on Twitter as well. His handle's on his name right now. Go to JetX, follow Sabo, follow Rivka, follow Andrew, follow everybody else that we have on the website. Again, we appreciate you guys, and we will be back soon.